Hello, welcome. It's time for Type 40 Live, your live stream Doctor Who show materializing live tonight here on the Spacebook channel. Tonight for us, but whatever time zone or time stream that you're joining us from. Welcome to the party across the Whooniverse. We're live right now on YouTube and Facebook in front of a live chat full of friends and companions just like you. Excited to hear what's next, what's coming up, and join the fun. With me, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, here in the console room and about to open up the cloisters and bring in some friends. you know the usual crowd, the usual faces. Not quite a regeneration cycle's worth, but yeah, some of them are familiar. Most of them, all of them, come to think of it. And have we got a show for you? We're celebrating yet again something a little more personal this time. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes, but we are Type 40 Live, the live streamed content attached to the Type 40 podcast that we put out with the Fandom Podcast Network. And you can interact with us even in real time if you're over on Facebook right now too, if you're in the Type 40 Facebook group or over on the Facebook page. So how that works is if you let StreamYard know who you are by clicking that little blue link, then StreamYard tells Facebook, Facebook tells us back here, and we all get on first name terms for this special edition. I know I say that all the time. They're all special, but yeah, hold tight. We're going to have a fun evening this time. Yeah, what first? Yeah, firstly, please continue to like the video. It's going to be a good one. They always are. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. Hit that little cloister bell so you get the notifications about when we go live next, or when we drop a podcast, or any of the other things that go on here on the Spacebook channel and with Type 40 Live, where the worlds of Doctor Who meets good old-fashioned common sense, and there's a few laughs along the way, guaranteed. Okay. Lots of people in the chat. That's great to see. We'll get into all of that in a couple of minutes. Lots of hellos, and here we goes, and all those kinds of things. So yeah, I can't wait to get started. And we have, what have we got tonight? We've got a competition. I know. We've got a diary. Yes, we've got more adverts, and we've got fun and games, literally, but sadly no prizes for the game here in the console room, but hopefully it'll be a lot of fun for you guys to play along with too. Who should we bring in first? Well, who's here? Yes. Oh, God. Okay. Yes, yet again, I am underdressed, but about to bask in the majesty of Mr. Simon Horton.
Greetings, folks. Well, I mean, it is our 50th episode, and that's a golden anniversary as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, happy golden anniversary to Type 40 Live. I mean, you know, come on, bring it on. Let's have a party. Woohoo!
You look like I've just sort of dragged you in off the ice.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to get comments about, are you wearing it for a dare? I mean, look, okay, I don't wear this every day. Just on special occasions, and I think this is probably a special occasion. I'm being paid to wear it. All right, let's just be honest. I'm being paid.
Of course. Well, yeah, let's keep it up and bring in. I know who's going to bring things a bit more down to earth and make me feel a little less like I'm sort of dressed down. The one and only Mr. JT.
Yes, unlike Simon, I actually do wear this every day. This is one of my clubbing outfits for when I'm on tour around the clubs of Britain when we're allowed. So yeah, happy 50 years of Type 40 Live, everybody. Aren't the others looking really old?
We know how to dress, don't we, JT? We know when it's a golden anniversary.
Well, when you decide to be gay and you sign the contract, it does say glamour all the way through. Otherwise, they come and get you. So, hi, Spacebookers, nice to see you.
The problem I've got is I'm sort of just shedding sequins everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's just little sequins all around me.
Well, you need a little Filipino to tie them all back on, like I've got. Get to it. Bloody hell. So I was thinking today actually about what, 50 and golden anniversaries and stuff, and it's really interesting, isn't it? And three things came to mind. That was that was obviously for the 50th. It says their 50th anniversary special. Remember that, Spacebookers? Yeah. So less said about that, the better. Later on in the year, Rainbow is 50.
Woo! Is it?
Yes, in November, Rainbow, British legend with the lovely Zippy. Hello, Spacebookers. That's 50, so that's coming up. And then, of course, there was this lovely thing that I always associate with 50. The Doctor Who magazine 50.
Yeah.
And that was
remember that
legendary,
well.
of course. I'll show you that. That was legendary, of course, because you got in the middle of it a poster with all the Doctor's stories on for all
I
4
remember
Doctors at the
that
time.
so
That's
well.
Do you remember
beautiful.
that? And that was the
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
Remember that? So there we go. That's what I'm associating 50 with.
And
That was the
how
most
much was
exciting
that?
issue of Doctor Who Monthly.
How
ever,
much was the
that
cover price of that DWM there, JT? 40p?
30 pence.
30p. I've just picked up
30p.
today's edition. It's cost me £6.99. So
Well, more mug fool you.
I'm seething. So yeah, I know what will cheer me up.
What will
I
cheer
know-
you up then?
It'll be the return of Queen Charlotte Shields, and yes, he's back. Barnaby Jago.
He lives. Oh, Simon, that's an amazing shit. With that collar, when was the last time you took it out? Was it 1979 or?
I think it was probably on a 70s tribute night at some dodgy nightclub somewhere a long time ago.
I was going to say, are
They
you
look
sure you
fabulous.
haven't stolen that from a certain somebody who we can't mention's dressing room?
Who can't we mention? Mention them. This is free speech. Mention them.
Probably say, Charlotte.
Can
A
mention
certain
anybody here.
JB who might have needed
John
that for a
Barrowman.
show.
I'm going to
yeah.
mention it. What is wrong with that? He's not blacklisted. John Barrowman. John Barrowman. John Barrowman. I love you. I think you're fabulous. John Barrowman. Just say it. Just say it. It's cool. John
I
Barrowman.
don't think John Barrowman would be seen dead.
Hashtag John Barrowman.
And, yes, and just as Lord Thoth says there in the chat, please like the video, subscribe to the
Oh,
channel,
Lord
and
Thoth,
hit the cloister
you.
bell so you get those notifications. Type 40 Live hits 50. This time here for another
50,
live stream,
yeah.
a glorious, fun live stream. We've got
50
lots
years
planned
old.
over the next couple of hours to celebrate 50 years in the time vortex with us.
We
here.
are older than YouTube itself. It's amazing.
We are indeed. It's extraordinary how that works. Barnaby, how have you been? Because we haven't seen you this year yet. How's the year got off to for you?
Yeah, it's been great. Auditioning and rehearsing, and lots of things in the pipeline. So, but I should have been on my sort of main thing, which is of course this show. It's so
Well, absolutely.
much in my heart. I should have been here, so I can only apologise to the space.
You're
Bookers and
just
everyone
showing
there.
off because you have a life. That's
Not
all.
accepted.
And my own fault. That is for having a life. My own fault. But it's
Sincerely,
wonderful.
sir,
It's
you
wonderful to
have
be back on.
been missed. And we're going to go and check out now, see if they've missed you as much as we have. We check in with the shipmates here. And Crimpling Doubloons here
Oi.
for our 50th edition. Ahoy, shipmates. So he says. And
He's
we've got a
stoned
film-
again.
We've got a recommendation here from Derek McManus who says, please go and see the film
Yes.
Belfast. It's very
It's an
good.
excellent film.
Never heard
Don't
of
go
it.
for the next couple of hours. Stay here watching Type 40 Live, then go and see Belfast. At the
Excellent
cinema.
film.
Absolutely. Good evening, all, says Peter Harrington.
Hola.
Good to see
Evening,
you
all.
here, Peter. And who else is here? Let's scroll down. You've got inquiries in the chat about action figures. Oh,
Yes.
anybody think we know what we're talking about, wouldn't they? Alison Stevenson. Hi, Alison. Good to see you here. One of the regulars. Hiya, everyone in the chat. Hope all are well. And
excuse me.
James A. Fitzpatrick says, ready for Strictly Come Down soon. He's not a million miles away, except I'm not the one in the sequins. Have you got spangly socks on or anything, Charlotte? Is there something you're not telling us?
Oh, I'm in a jumper and my pajama bottoms, so really not.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Good
See,
girl,
I've got
good girl.
a spangly boob tube on under this. Might show you later. Stay tuned. Press that like and subscribe.
That's for what they call the after party, Barnaby. I think we've got to stay to that.
Well,
It would have to be.
You said we haven't got prizes for the game. That's the prize, folks.
Oh. Derek Brady says, hi, y'all. He's
Hi, Derek.
doing a bit of the old John Wayne there. He's channeling, or somebody from the Gunfighters,
see
maybe I
Derek.
should have said, it being a Doctor Who.
I might, if I remember, I might be mentioning Derek later on.
Oh, good. Philip King says, good evening, Type 40. Good evening, Philip King.
Good evening, Philip. Oh, he's very. Oh, good evening, Philip. Yes.
Good
Welcome
evening.
to the news with Type 40 Live.
We're joined by Alexander Beta Werbra II. Hello, Bookers. First time live. I've been catching up on previous shows for the next from the last 4 months, and you're still here. You've come back for more.
Yeah, got to say special hello to Alexander, because I know Alexandra's been watching all of our shows, everyone in sequence from day one, right through the sequence.
God, I'm going to look at my doctor.
NHS
Brilliant
Direct.
to have you here, Alexander. Fantastic, you made it.
Yay!
Yeah, we're
That's
scrolling
me. Take
down
me off
now.
there. Take
And
that
I'll
off.
also do a very quick shout out as well to Adam Birch, who's in the chat. Hello, Adam. Adam is an
Yes,
original
Adam.
lunatic he's in America. Adam is in America. He's
Yeah.
from our neck of the woods originally, Dan, but he now lives in America. So hello, Adam.
Oh,
and
bless him.
he says, I remember your bright orange shirt. Yes, Adam, I did have a bright orange shirt. I'll pick that one out for next week.
Thanks for joining us,
Must
Adam.
be in the
Welcome
80s.
aboard. Enjoy the
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
Paul Murray says, evening all. Jamie Reese says, hello all. Looking forward to the show. So am I.
Oh, well, we'll soon bash
Jamie.
that out of you.
Been looking forward to this all day. Sam, simply Sam.
Oh.
Sam Tyler here from Life on Mars says, hello
Sam.
there.
Hello there.
And lots of the same kind
Barnaby,
of
say
thing.
that again. Do that again.
Hello there.
Yes.
Take for Chris. Are you on Cameo, Barnaby? Not yet.
Very soon. Very soon.
There's Grand Moff Miranda. Hi there.
Oh,
Isn't it
yeah.
lovely?
Grand
Hello,
Moff Miranda
Spacebookers. It's
has
so
got
lovely
a
to have you
cup
here
of
on our
tea.
50th birthday.
I've got a cup of tea and coffee pods
Very
nearby.
wise.
So mixing
Very
drinks
wise.
there,
Lovely.
Miranda, but it is good to see you.
Just need a chocolate
Cheers.
hobnob to go with that. Just need a chocolate hobnob.
Crimply the Balloon's asking where
We'll move
Rosie
on.
is. Rosie's having a kip round the back, but I may well bring her on after the halfway mark there. And Mark Milford says, Type 40 Live, a better Doctor Who show than the BBC's current production.
Yes,
We're
it's
not
true.
going
What can we
to
say?
argue
We couldn't comment.
with that. And just
And
like
cheaper.
we're a lot cheaper,
Yeah.
but we'll do pretty much
And
anything for £3.50.
Yeah, and secret. And we're not bleeding the license fee people dry yet. So
No, play our own bus fare if need be.
no,
And
we
speaking-
didn't bring back a dead channel. No.
But speaking of the TV show, which of course has been inspiring fan art as long as it's been inspiring fans, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
I'm flattered to say that we have started inspiring fan art. Everybody, we'll have some. I know.
You haven't seen them yet, JT.
Give JT a moment. So I want to say a big thank you for this on this show to Kev, Who Fan Man, for this grandiose. This is as good as Gallifrey will stand. I think this is a beautiful piece.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So in celebration of 50 shows,
So cool.
so we're
Oh,
actually all
fabulous. And we're all
Lovely.
in there. Look at us. We're all in there.
yeah.
So fantastic.
Thank
So
you, Kev.
there's-
That's
Oh,
brilliant.
thank you so much.
That's so cool.
That is really cool. I love that, Kev. Well
Really
done.
I'm having that. I'm having that for my desktop. I want that. That's
We
brilliant.
have another version of it coming up, so you'll be able to choose as to which one you want. But yes, a big thank you to Kevin for taking so much time to put us all in
Brilliant.
there
Thank
as well
you.
and add the stars.
love
I
it.
know that there was a bit of a domestic, and so he had a bit of artistic interference from someone close in his life. But between
Oh,
them,
tell
they
me
did
about it.
manage
I've
to
had that. Oh.
get to this solution. So there's elements of the classic, elements of the new, and all of us there. So there's Barnaby
Really
there on the far right, Charlotte, Simon, Ian, the mega geek, and JT, Sarah, Starry-Eyed Girl, Sarah Graham, and myself. And there's Wendy
Fabulous.
from the podcast there too. So yeah, wonderful piece of fan art. Sincerely, thank you so much for your time in that.
Thank you.
We'll be having a look at it again a little later on in another version.
I think we should just leave that up for 2 hours, really.
Yeah, we'll go home. We'll go to bed.
It's all the people need.
Oh,
Yeah.
so back in the chat. We've got a hi Dan here again from Miranda. Good to see you. Hello, Dan. Hello, everybody. From
Daniel.
Daniel Leach.
Hello, Daniel.
Hi, guys and gals. You started early, says
Do a
Kelly.
2 hour show on hello to everybody, couldn't we? I mean,
God.
we love you all. We love you.
The shirt has a few fans here, Simon.
What can I say? Yeah, you
John
get
H
your
says he'll
John
get
H.
his sunglasses.
Wise.
Oh my God! Look at Simon. I hope there are no Cybermen about. Says Grand Moff Miranda.
No, just Daleks.
And Alexander says, reminds me of Bernie Taupin's shirt. There, so
Bless.
yeah, bit of fashion advice. Now, first thing I think we should talk about really is a bit of a shock. And over the last few years, the profile of Doctor Who as a brand has sort of gone up and down, really. But I think the one thing that people have been chomping at the bit for, whether they're sort of fans, casual fans, or not, is more Doctor Who on TV, really. And 3 or 4 years ago, I think the Horror Channel, they had a bit of a success with running old Doctor Who stories, I think stripped across the week, I know that they did that for a little while, some sort of deal with the BBC, and there was some quite creative graphics as well. And then not long after that, the streaming platform, Barnaby, Twitch. Have you ever used Twitch?
I've heard of Twitch, yeah. I've got a few friends who are actually Twitch streamers, actually.
Is it actually clean?
It's not that kind of twitching, and it's not bird watching either. No, it's all connected with gaming and live streaming. So they stream TV shows whilst you game. It's for people who can multitask, Sean, which absolutely isn't me. No. But
that's amazing how they do that, though, isn't it? I can't even imagine how they would.
It does. It's a whole new sort of culture around gaming. But in the meantime, people have been asking, why don't the BBC run old Doctor Who on such as BBC 4? But, they haven't for quite a time. Somebody has stepped into the breach, though. So it was announced this week by Forces TV, who've been showing a lot of vintage TV of one kind or another. They have secured certain select episodes of Doctor Who, and they are going to be running them as from next week. So we thought we'd shout about this for a little while. It's become, I suppose, Forces TV started out as being exclusively for serving people in the armed forces. I think it was a closed station. It's now on its Unit TV. Yeah, because now it's available for everybody to see.
Yeah,
and so this is what they're doing. They're showing. So I've reached out to Forces, and we've had this little blurb from them. They're going to be showing a selection of 12 Doctor Who stories so they're going to be from the years between 1970 and 1988 that are featuring 5 Doctors. So they haven't told us which stories exactly, but they will cover John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. And these will start running on Tuesday, the 15th of February, in double bills. So we're going to get lots of Doctor Who action, and it's a good taster, I suppose, for whether people will tune in and watch, particularly in that format, Barnaby, with the 25-minute chunks and the cliffhangers. Maybe they're just testing it, because it is quite unusual, isn't it?
It's an unusual way of doing it, like, for nowadays. But I think, when I sort of watched it when I was young, it just became the norm. So if you just suspend your disbelief, I think you can really love it, I think.
Yeah.
People have got to get into the habit of watching it, haven't they, Simon, and sort of fitting it in their life.
Well, but of course you've hit the nail on the head there, Dan. That was exactly what proper Doctor Who was. It was that appointment TV, because you'd watched last week's episode, so you had to come back, and that was why the cliffhangers was there, and that was why people did come back. Normally across a month they'd come back 4 weeks, and people did. They committed to it. They wanted to do that, and that's one of the things that I love about original classic Doctor Who, is that excitement of just waiting for next week's episode, because it really did seem a long 7 days until the next episode came out. You were just champing at the bit. You were desperate for that next episode to come out, and that's what I feel Doctor Who has lost of late. Is that freneticism, that excitement of waiting for that next episode that you can't wait to appear.
They're starting with Spearhead from Space, aren't they, JT? Which does seem fitting, it being Forces TV, because we've got the Brigadier and units sort of stomping around the place.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say as well that the obvious aspect of proper Doctor Who, the original Doctor Who, is because it's in those 25-minute segments, you can put adverts at the end of each 25-minute episode. So if you've got a full party, you could put it all on in one night or over 2 nights and have the break. Go and get a cup of tea, then come back after it, because they have to show their adverts. So we know we're starting with
UK TV Gold. They did that actually when it was.
Yeah. So we know we're starting with Spearhead for Space. We're going to finish with Remembrance of the Daleks. I think it's great, but we have to remember as well that Forces Television has become a slightly obsessed channel when it comes to these. It has recently shown The Man from Atlantis, which some of us remember from when we were kids, which was awful. I used to love that show, and I watched it when it was on. Oh my god, this is awful.
I remember I used to be in punch-ups with my brother about that, because he wanted to watch Man from Atlantis on ITV. I wanted to watch Doctor Who. So one week we'd have to alternate. So every other episode through that period, I missed.
Oh, well, they've shown a lot of different cult things going on at the moment, but it's very interesting, because as I said to a friend of mine, what's happening here, because could this be the end of BritBox? Could it be the end of the association? Are things changing for the BBC? Who knows? But it's so good to see it on another channel, because it will get found and it will be watched.
Well, and also people still talk about only this week in the Hoonatics Facebook page. I saw somebody asking, "How can I easily get hold of classic Who?" And of course, you can get them on the DVDs. Yeah, you can do that, but people want immediate access to it, and this is great. To see out there. There is an appetite for classic Who for people that have found the show in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever.
Well, you're pretty new to classic Who, aren't you, Charlotte? So how were you able to find it?
Well, I think I found it online. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
because some of it is on Daily Motion has a lot of episodes up, doesn't it?
Yes, that's how I watched a good chunk of it. And now, because it's not easy to, obviously I'm going through it chunk by chunk, so I can't really go and get DVDs for every one. Yeah. So, but I can remember, I didn't watch the Twitch thing, but I can remember it actually, like on Twitter and on all the socials, people were talking about the Twitch Doctor Who marathon. Wow. And you saw a lot of people like my age, actually, you could tell that this was the first time they were seeing Who. So I do think it is, I think almost the Twitch thing was really good for what you're talking about, that it was such an easy thing for people to maybe, they wouldn't have even been looking for Doctor Who, but I'm guessing it would have been promoted because I'm guessing the BBC would have had a lot to do with that. So it was a good thing to get eyes on it. So like, I agree, whenever Doctor Who can be put on another thing to look at, it does just help their profile.
It has to be done.
In the chat have just said that, Charlotte, about Twitch. Now, I was there, says Blue Planet. Twitch is for the youth beings. Richard Brooks, JT.
And it went really well from what I saw from the outside. And I was surprised. I can remember thinking, God, this has gone better than I thought it would.
I think it's actually essential, and I hope people like studios are watching this, because it benefits in the long run. If you are going to put Doctor Who in one particular channel, for example, as we possibly have discussed about, and we possibly think they may do, a Whoniverse channel, you do have to have a backup, because the simple thing is to make people aware of your main channel, you have to show the show somewhere else. So proper Doctor Who is an ideal format to do that on places like Forces TV now, because it benefits you, because people that are coming to the show and finding it that way will go and buy the Blu-ray collection sets to find out more. They'll get into the show, and then that will lead you to any new platform that you're building, you know. So I say the more it's
I think we're talking gateway drugs, Simon.
Well, I just really
get them hooked,
because, and I'm sure I'm not going to be alone on this one. How do we get Forces TV? Can I get it? Where is it?
Yes, you can. British. It's on Sky. Have you got that? Have you got it, Dan?
No, I've got Sky.
I have, but if you want to read the numbers out, there is a list of numbers that go depending on which service.
Yeah, go. You read them out. You read them out.
So we've got Sky Channel 181.
Yep.
On your Virgin boxes, it's channel 274. If you've got Freesat, it's channel 165, or it's Freeview, channel 96.
Brilliant.
And UView, channel 96. I don't even know what UView is.
I had to look that one up as well. Google it if you're not sure. I didn't know what it was.
There we are. That's all the places that you can find Forces TV and this run of classic Doctor Who stories. If everybody goes along and watches them, maybe they'll be tempted to get some more in. And more people can be brought into the family in time for the 60th anniversary.
That's the point, isn't it? That's the point. Everything will be gearing up to that next year now.
And shouldn't the BBC be showing these episodes? You know, you can't think that people want. Oh, never mind.
Nobody watches the BBC. They do watch things like Forces Television and what have you, though. We've proven that on many occasions.
Oh, God. Yes, so we have more news too. I don't know if you've seen this, because I don't know if it's launched already, but BBC Three is back this very week. And BBC Three, of course, was a TV channel, wasn't it, for several years, I think from the early noughties through to 2016. This was an actual TV channel.
Actual TV channel.
Was it?
TV channel
really?
That operated between around 6 or 7 in the evening and say 2 or 3 in the morning, because they shared the channel, didn't they, with one of the children's stations. That's how it was. But crucially for Doctor Who fans, it was where we first saw Doctor Who Confidential, Torchwood, and Class. But by the time they were actually making and broadcasting Class, the decision had been made to take BBC Three off as an actual channel and to trial it as a kind of as a streaming service, Barnaby. So did you follow all of that, and did you watch BBC Three much in the original era? And do you think it's a good move for the BBC to bring it back?
I mean, why not? Really, when it comes down to it, why not do it? I mean, sort of like a lot of scrabbling about it seems to be. But I never watched. BBC Three when it was actually sort of properly out. I saw Torchwood and Confidential, because wasn't Confidential after Doctor Who when it was on?
Directly,
on
after
the
it
actual channels.
aired.
That's how I saw it. And I just saw Torchwood just because I bought the DVD by accident one day of the first season. I was like, this is looking. I didn't even know it was connected with Doctor Who. It's getting like, this is really, it's got John Brown. Oh, I see. Yeah. So
BBC Three
I
always
didn't watch
had an identity, Barnaby, but it continued to sort of evolve from. And I think that as time went on, as with a lot of channels, really, they have a couple of big successes, and it tends to end up shaping a channel's broader identity. And eventually BBC Three got kind of lost. And I think that obviously to see it come back, though, and to be reminded of shows like Torchwood and the impact that had and the success that it had for Doctor Who fans, it's quite heady to be reminded of all that.
It is not. Get over it.
No. In fairness, JT, you know, if you're impressionable when that happened, that was part of your. We were talking about regular routines, like you say, Barnaby. I would watch Doctor Who and then immediately go and watch Confidential. It was part of the weekly routine, and it was the same when Torchwood came along. So you get into these viewing habits, and you get fond of the icons, you get fond of the idents, and all that kind of thing. And I think there are a lot of people who kind of view that a little bit as a glory era and think, okay, if BBC Three is back, maybe in time this could be a home to a further spin-off or supplementary programming around Doctor Who in some way.
Excuse me while I fall asleep.
I think what's interesting.
It's not impossible, though, is it? It's
of course it is.
BBC. This is also going to be sustained by the license fee. So it's not unreasonable for people to wonder if that may happen.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if you don't see Doctor Who Confidential back once Russell T Davies comes back on board. I wouldn't be at all surprised. BBC Three interestingly survived on a diet of 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. I mean, it was literally back-to-back episodes. That was pretty much all you got on BBC Three. But
I think that's what it became.
That was its defining show, without any doubt at all. But there was some decent stuff on BBC Three in the early days. I'm not saying it was brilliant, but my love of BBC Three actually was the idents. Does anybody remember those little blobs, the little orange?
Yes,
I loved all that. I think the channel had a real identity for a while, and I think it's got swamped by the success that they did have too, and the successes that stayed there. Obviously, Torchwood was nicked by BBC Two and then by BBC One. It was stripped of shows like that, and what it was left with was stuff like 2 Pints, Don't Tell the Bride, and I don't want to say it's tat, but it was exclusively a certain kind of programming, and I think it was a shame.
Well, it was also specifically youth TV, and in the early days, it wasn't specifically youth TV. It was just kind of sort of vaguely edgy, sort of didn't quite fit in with the BBC schedule anywhere else kind of stuff. So it was all right in the early days. It was okay, and it did have an identity. But am I excited to see it back now? Well, no. And as Garbage says, green on that low. It's just the most.
Well, the bigger problem is because when BBC Three was a thing, that was me growing up. It sort of got a bit of a nostalgic almost for me, because that was my era of. It was seen as sort of the if you're a teenager or if you're in that age bracket, it was the channel for you. That's how it was marketed, and I think it did well at the beginning. But the difference is when it launched, they had some brand new, quite different programming.
Yes.
Because another thing is Gavin and Stacey launched on BBC Three, and you could see that they had lots of different things going on. And this time, I'm just astounded they brought it back, and they haven't got one big ticket show.
Can I just say they haven't brought it back? It's been there all this time online.
No, we know.
Nobody really
as
watched
a show.
it.
They brought it.
They've brought the channel back. The channel was actually available online. So let's get the facts right. And then what they've done now is they've put it on television because it didn't work. It was a huge flop, like much of what the BBC does now.
Obviously, it would
online. And what it's become,
it was there, didn't they?
What BBC has also become is, like everything in the BBC, it's become an extreme left-wing ideological viewpoint pile of tosh. I mean, when you've got that old crone RuPaul with the highest rated show on BBC Three with that awful, dire, misleading drag race nonsense, and then everything, an alleged comedy which is not funny at all and which insults white people. And I mean, it's just a waste of time. Now, with the BBC being in the problems it's got now, it's not getting an increase on the license. Why have they bothered? If they want to start doing things again, I mean, BBC Three. I mean, you have to admit the only reason it's there is a vain and desperate attempt to get young people watching it, so they will pay a TV license. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's clearly. I think the word is tactical, isn't it, JT? There's clearly
an
underlying motive, because when I saw the actual schedule, I was expecting that this. You know, they've got shiny new graphics. They have very bold statements from people at certain echelons of the BBC. So I went and looked at a TV guide to see what was filling this schedule. And it's exactly as but it was you're right, really. It's exactly as you've described. I know it's early days, but I would start with you've got to start something like this as a statement of intent and fire some serious shots across the TV landscape, because like several people have said in the chat, how can they possibly consider launching or relaunching any channel back to the airwaves at a time like this?
I find this whole thing, sorry, I've got to say this. I find the whole thing nonsensical, bad business sense. Surprise, surprise from the BBC.
Think it is bad business.
But also the thing about this is, when you are a channel like the BBC, whose days are numbered, when you are in trouble, when the license fee, whether you like it or not, it's going. It won't be around in 20 years' time. It's going. We know that from the last 2 weeks. It's gonna go. And I'm all for that. Hashtag defund the BBC. I'm all for that. Don't care. But what you should be doing is putting content in right now and putting money into content without your ideologies and putting it on the main two channels. Because there's nothing on BBC One. There's nothing on BBC Two.
On those two channels that have been there for 60. BBC Two launched about 65, 66.
And it's the 100 years this year of the actual organisation as it is. And, you know, I will be this year celebrating 5 years without a television licence. I have not missed any BBC service at all. I honestly can say that. Not one thing, not radio, not television, not their websites, nothing. I've missed nothing.
Well, I'll have to stop you there. I think people have gathered what we think about it. Let's find out what the mega view is, because yes, he has made it, materializing from an undisclosed location somewhere in Battersea. It's the one.
It's the dog's home.
David Diaz, the mega geek.
I'm just enjoying all that nonsense just now. What did you bring me on?
Ian, did any of it make any sense to you? Any of the things we've been saying?
No, none whatsoever.
Anyway, we are hearing, Ian, we're hearing more rumours, mate. We're hearing more rumours. You're just in time. You're just in time to hear them too. Okay, this guy, Mr. Russell T. Davis,
big brother
is the diary room needs a bit of a dust, doesn't it?
Freedom is slavery.
This is Russell T. Davis, and as some of you may be aware, he's about to sort of take the reins back.
He has taken the reins back
from the 60th anniversary for 2023, and we are getting that anniversary special, the 60th anniversary, and a Series 14 at some date in the future. Obviously, speculation is now rife about the format of Series 14, Ian. And this week, there are lots of whispers, rumours flying around that it's going to be, just this week, we've heard it's either going to be 8 episodes or 11. It could start filming this April, which I'd severely doubt. And we're hearing budgets of 6.36 million per episode, which is much higher. That's a much higher budget than they've had at BBC Wales.
That's true. That's healthy.
Now, and I'm more inclined to believe that those kind of figures from somewhere like Bad Wolf, JT.
Do you know how those figures do compare with what they were paying for previously?
Yes, I do.
It's an increase.
The last series, Doctor Who Flux, had an average of 1.8 million spent per episode. So from 1.8 million to 6.3 million. Ian, what do you think about those figures, about the episode count? What do you think they're going to go with this? In eight parts, 11 episodes? What do you think?
I'm all for it. I just hope that they don't do something bad, like put a woman as the Doctor again. If they do that, then they'll lose everybody. So I'm just fingers crossed. But it sounds great. I mean, you know, Russell. I kind of agree with Simon, actually. Russell shouldn't have been called back at all, really. Let's face it, should have been someone new. But now we've got him. Hopefully he's going to, fingers crossed, retcon the retcon. Hopefully he'll retcon the retcon and we'll all be happy. But, you know, it's the BBC's got a stake in this, haven't they, as well?
Yes, BBC Studios. BBC Studios have the stake. Not BBC Television, BBC Studios.
Yeah.
So Barnaby, it's been a couple of months since we heard from you on this topic. How are you feeling about the relaunch, about all new Doctor Who now? Have you been keeping up on all the little whispers, or where are you with it?
Well, there's just so many rumours coming out now, so many rumours, and it's all just complete and utter bumkum that kind of comes out of who's going to come in and what's going to
I love that word, bumpkin.
Great word.
I'm bringing it back. And it's all just, I mean, I was quite happy that it was going to go to Russ, but obviously it was going to go to Russell as well, because, I mean, at this kind of point in view, I'd rather have it in Russell than, personally, I'd rather have it with Russell than with someone new, someone who actually, you know, started with it and sort of brought it back. So I think I'm cautiously optimistic with the whole thing, but when it comes down to the rumors and everything, I just don't listen to them at all. I am just waiting and watching. I will wait. I'm not watching any more Doctor Who, I'm afraid, since Eve of the Daleks. So I'm just going to wait and listen to I'll listen to you guys.
Join the club.
You guys.
Join the club, mate.
Well, you Ian.
Join the millions.
You haven't watched one since. Which was the last one you watched?
The last season I watched was the first season of Jodie, and that was it for me. That was it for me.
That was probably the best place to leave it. I was.
James of Andrew Zahn has dropped a comment here. Hi Ian, it's not the same without the Mega Geek.
Hey, I'm back. Well, I was late. I was working, so.
Yeah, he's actually got a life, believe it or not. Yes, we've got several people commenting to that effect. Good to see you, Ian. And people commenting about Russell T Davies there, how he looks a little bit like Chris Chibnall, but I couldn't really see it myself. So yeah, Bad Wolf, as we all know, is going to be the new home of Doctor Who. We're hearing all these whispers, Charlotte, that production's about to start, and people are really chomping at the bit, really latching onto this. It's going to start next week. We'll find out in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, and it all seems really, really intense. And whilst I understand where the eagerness comes from, it's not really feasible, is it?
Well, you guys probably know better than me with this sort of stuff, but considering that in December he was like, we've just started auditions for the Doctor, makes me think, they're not in any hurry. And I think they know that they're not in any hurry. And I'm saying with you, I think it's just people, they're so desperate for any information that they're willing to get the slightest thing they see on Facebook or on Twitter or anything, and they just jump for it. So, but that's the thing that I think is going to be funny, because I think when Russell wants to talk, I don't think we'll be able to shut him up. So it's like, just wait, because Russell's style is not like the current production, which is to tell nobody nothing. His usual style is to give little bits of information, because he knows it's going to keep people quiet enough that he can just get on with the work.
So is the rumor true about Jodie changing and then they're going to cut and they're not going to reveal who the?
We don't know. We've spoken about that on this show. It's a theory that we have, and we just don't know. But what I would say to people as well, again, calm down. Just calm down. The new era of Doctor Who is in production. They're in there now. They are hiring staff. That's part of it. You know, you have to get your staff and your behind the scenes people in place. Once you have them in place, you can then start looking at the budgets. You can start looking at the designs. You can start looking at what sort of paint you're going to use.
The difference is, JT, is that people assume that as soon as those things begin to happen, then filming is just days away.
I think it's also because there are a lot of fans out there, and I think you said this, Dan, that are totally confused now, because this is out of their comfort zone. They are usually used to a pattern of the series starting at a certain time. Now, this is a massive culture shock for them, because that's not going to happen necessarily this time, you know, because they do have to put an entirely new force in behind the cameras. This is not done in BBC Wales. This is Bad Wolf Productions with studios. We know now that there are certain people coming in, like Phil. He's back. We've got the chap that's doing the script editing. He's one of the script editors. He's in there. Can't remember his name. Scott,
Hancock.
isn't it? Yeah. So he's there. Never met him. And then all these other, but we've got the designers there. We don't know if it's going to be the Bad Wolf designers or if they're going to go independent. I would leave them alone. They've got a lot to do and they've got a lot on their shoulders. And, I think everyone should calm down.
You mentioned the budget just now. So the budget's pretty high for it's kind of like an American budget for each
it has to be.
Yeah. So,
it has to be.
So basically I'm hoping that they hire someone that's international to play the Doctor, that goes right across the board, speaks to America and England.
No, it's not just America and Britain, by the way. It's got to be worldwide because this thing now has to make money.
Yeah,
but I still believe it has to be a British actor.
Totally agree.
We've had 12 previous British actors that actually broke through into territories fine. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's not all about America ever. It's first and foremost, it has to be a massive success in its home country, the United Kingdom. We have to bring the British public back. Without the British public, you've lost 50% because that's the main aim. You have to have it homegrown. You have to have your home audience. You have to bring your fandom back, all of us, and then you have to look worldwide because this has to make money.
What's your take, Simon?
Well, firstly, I would respectfully disagree with my besequined friend Jane. I would think, no, don't calm down. This to me is what. Don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in the rumours. I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in Russell. But for the people out there that are, bring it on because. Twas ever thus. This is how Doctor Who has always been, as far back as I can remember. Certainly, Doctor Who is one of those shows, as we well know. That's why we're sitting here talking about it every week for 2 hours, because it engages the audience more than in a passive way, in the way that EastEnders engages the audience. They just sit there, they just watch it. Doctor Who fans are not like that. They do engage with it in an active way. They are excited by it. They want to get involved with it. They want to know what's happening next. They want to think about what's happening next. Even if it's wrong, they don't care. They just want to make up stories about, have you heard so-and-so's the Doctor? Oh, they're going to do... It's just one of those shows that just excites people. And so what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with that. Let people get excited.
No, but there's a difference, Simon. I mean...
it's better to have people talking about your intellectual property than not, though, isn't it, JT?
Well, no, what I'm meaning by this is Simon doesn't follow the social media. I do.
No.
Not true.
And this, I come at it from a different point of view because I see what these idiots on social media are saying, and practically a lot of this nonsense is being taken as read as fact by very immature people. And I'm concerned about the after effect of that because there's it's all fun about it, but it's different to when we were kids. It's different to the speculation because we didn't have social media. It's now vicious and it's intense and it's driven.
I'm just trying to. I'm not trying to pick an argument with it, but why does it matter if they get excited about it and they think
it's not just exciting though? I mean, there are lots of stuff that comes on, on Twitter and stuff like this, which is going into other elements. It goes into politics. It goes into other stuff. It's not just about who's going to be the next Doctor. It's the insistence that the next Doctor must be a female. They must like their companion in a romantic way. This must happen. Okay. This is where I'm saying, no, if you calm down.
People have got shopping lists, haven't they? And they are
shocking.
Borderline hysterical, JT. I mean, you saw, didn't you? The people were absolutely beside themselves over the simple idea. I mean, I don't know if you were aware of this one, Barnaby. The fact that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, when she regenerates, not only we may not actually see the regeneration, but it will not take place inside the TARDIS. We've had this confirmed by the director of the Centenary Special, Jamie Magnus Stone, and that seems a perfectly reasonable thing. And yet people lost their minds. Do you think it's because it's different to everything we've had over the last 15 years? What do you think?
Yeah, the people just went absolutely mad about that. I don't understand why.
No,
as long as she dies, it's fine with me.
But the Doctor's regenerated out of TARDIS all the time in the classic era. So I mean, if you were a proper Doctor Who fan, you'd know that.
Exactly.
So people on Twitter complaining about it obviously have no idea what they're talking about.
Well,
a shock, I know.
Yeah, I think though for some of them, they perceived it as she's possibly going to get snubbed. I think they perceive it as she's not getting what the rest of them got. So that's them the BBC.
Yeah, but Tom Baker
being
regenerated outside when he fell off the thing, didn't he?
Yeah,
he
look,
was
yeah,
okay.
yes.
No, but, okay, let me try and say you're talking about people of my age who might have not
Your
watched
age?
Classic Who have
okay.
just watched the modern incarnation, and pretty much every modern Doctor has regenerated in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
That's you got. I know it's such a different mindset, but that's the mindset.
So it's so dull.
And the thing is, Charlotte, I agree with you in the you know, look, people. There are people out there that do love the Jodie era, and good luck to them. Well done. Fair enough. I've got nothing wrong. And so those people, they want to see their Doctor given fair
In the TARDIS.
Fair enough. You can't
Let's see
argue.
if Jodie's in here, shall we?
Give it a good shake. Give it a good shake.
She's ready to do convention circuits. That's what she's doing now.
Poor Maria watching on YouTube here with us says, enjoy the surprises as they come along.
Exactly.
We've got John Yalden here who says that didn't Russell T Davies over 10 years ago say that Doctor Who should always be played by a male? Correct if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he said that.
He did in a certain way, yes. But he's probably regretting those words now. Time will tell.
Yes.
Time will tell.
Blue Planet says that if Dan is Birmingham's king of the geeks, they should be taking advice from each of the major cities' geek king on how to approach the new series. I couldn't possibly speculate about that. AFK 1961. AFK 61 says, "May I ask, where do the rumours of current and future budgets come
Good question.
from?"
Reddit.
A lot of fans make them up. There are several people on Twitter who will take to YouTube as well, because that's what's in their head at the time. And this is where a lot of the problems come from, because other impressionable youngsters especially believe everything that's on that because they don't know any other world. So, you know, you can't even trust Doctor Who magazine at the moment.
A lot of it comes from Reddit, though. The Reddit.
Yeah, we have to wait for official BBC press releases, and then the likes of us will pick that and we'll chat about it. So I feel very, very passionate and protective towards a lot of the young ones now because they are mixed up in this entire bubble, which isn't necessarily healthy.
Twitter is not a real world.
Tell that to the kids who have grown into it. They've been born into it.
And I just want to say hello to Problem Being, who's joined us in the chat, who says, BBC, do not listen to Twitter. Vanessa Law adds that she agrees with Simon. Let people do what they want. Great to see so many familiar faces here for the 50th edition of Type 40 Live. We are celebrating this evening 50 live streams here on Type 40 Live. I
thought it was Batman for a minute there. It's a Spider-Man, isn't it?
It was Batman. So come and join in and drop us your comments too. Come and join in all the fun. We've got Doctor Who rumours. It's not like the OTT weather stories on certain newspapers every day. The polar plunge, it's on its way, but it's not far off, Garbage. It's not far off.
Hey, Garbage.
Twitter is not the real world, again, as Vanessa Law.
Yeah,
so,
very true.
You see, a lot of the people in our chat seem fairly based about these things, but you know, if only the
maybe
BBC
we're older,
aware that there is life outside.
They're a lot older, aren't they? So
maybe we're all older because you do see those poor kids. I do feel for them. I think, oh my God, you know, you don't know the real world, do you? Shocking.
We sound old.
And I'm pleased about it because I wouldn't be their age in this day and age. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be young in this day and age. Not at all.
There's some clever kids out there that know that Twitter is not a real world and stuff. There are a lot, but they don't get reported, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. Well, JT is definitely age-defying with his with the glimmer of his ensemble this evening, and he brings with him, don't you? You bring with you some of the golden age of TV too. So we're gonna go over to you now for details of the Type 40 Hits 50 live competition. Okay.
Yes.
So what's the competition about? What can people win? How can they win it? Over to you, JT.
Okay, well, Spacebookers, because this is the 50th Type 40 Live, we thought it would be fun just to give some away, just for a laugh, just for a laugh. I was going through some of the stuff here in the loft because I'm preparing for various shifts of merchandise and possibly a new wave of stuff that I am expecting coming for the 60th. And I was going through some stuff.
Back, are you, JT?
No, I'm making room for any new stuff that might come through. Because it's a mess. Honestly, you can't see it's a mess. And there was some stuff here that I thought I've got extras of. So if you're interested, we're going to have a competition and you can have them. Now, I have to state right now that this is only, I'm afraid this is only for people in the United Kingdom, because I can't afford the postage out of the United Kingdom, because it's astronomical. It's bloody, what are you doing out there in the bits of, what the hell are we doing? Anyway, gas prices, why are we paying for them? I don't know, electricity and everything. So what I've got for you to, if you are interested, and we'll tell you how to advertise, how to enter in a minute. If you're interested, I've got some stuff here that you can have. I have this, which we are giving away. This is the 2017 colouring calendar. Now, Danilo, this is what you should be doing. Look at these, Facebookers. You can colour in 12 months. Okay, it's 2017, but this is the nearest you're going to get to a colouring book right now, I think. And there's lots of colouring bits in there. And as you can see, there are all those lovely pictures you may have seen, those posters that are going that look like the comic art on the covers of comics. So we've got that for you. We have these wonderful things. Yeah, that's what Danielle should be looking at. We've got some of these. Now, back when the show was 40 in 2003, they did these mini standalone stands. You know, these things here. So I have a Dalek, I have a TARDIS, and then we have a Michael Wisher Davros there. All still sealed. Recommended retail price of those are $8.99 each, but you can have those. And then I have some stuff here for you if you're interested in these. I have a first edition of the target novel of the Twin Dilemma.
Woo!
I have a first edition for you of the Ice Warriors.
Woo!
And a first edition of the Green Death.
Fabulous.
And the Green Death has the back print on there as well. So you can get those as well. So
it's like
if
swap
you want,
shop, this is. It's like swap shop all over
that's
again.
exactly what it's going to be,
Of course it
because if you remember Swap Shop and Saturday Superstore, how you can win these is to answer this question. Now, if you used to watch Swap Shop and Saturday Superstore back in the day, this was the shut up you. This was the question.
They didn't have that competitions on there.
This was the question that was the most popular Doctor Who related question of Saturday morning television. And it's this. Dan will tell you in a minute how you get the answer to us, but you answer to us not on a postcard. What do the initials TARDIS stand for? If you know the answer to that, Facebookers, then just whiz over your answer to this. And Dan, let's tell them how they enter.
PO
you can
box.
get in touch. Yes, 01 if you're outside London. Yes, you can get in touch with us through our social media, Instagram and Twitter at Type40 Doctor Who. Send us a message direct there or tweet at us. You can reach us on Facebook too. There's a Type40 Facebook page. You can message us directly or join the Facebook group too. We'll be posting a little box in there where you can add your name and your answer. And we'll collect everybody's names, and the winner will be drawn out from the old TARDIS tin at complete random. And in due course, the glorious Sequin, Mr. JT, will rush the winner their items.
Absolutely. So the question again, and yes, don't be putting it into the chat. No, you can't get this out. You have to do some research for this, Facebookers. What does the initials TARDIS stand for? Send it your answer, not on a postcard. There you go.
You don't get this on Radio Free Scaro, do you, everybody?
Thank God.
And Jamie Reese wants to know, is my shirt one of the prizes? Yeah, I'm going to take it off now. So, no, actually.
A hint of Horton in the under the arms there, and I think
Sparkly Horton today.
We have some suggestions.
Yeah,
we have some suggestions. We have people.
I'm going to be fetching these sequins out of small corners for the rest of the year, I think.
That's a very difficult question we've got from a few. We've got emojis. No answers in the chat. Yes, people have been very
telling problem being
very sporting over that problem being. So thank you for that. Wendology adds, wow, there is some fantastic stuff there, JT. Brett Cohen says, haha, I have the Ice Warriors.
Yes, it's one of my favourite ones. Why am I getting rid of it? No, it's one of my favourite ones.
Kev L. We've got another Kev. Kev L says, I follow Dan here. Follow Dan here.
Stalker!
Rabbi's
Stalker!
Thanks for joining us, Kev. Yeah, I was talking to the rabbi from another planet, the glorious Svila Betkin, earlier on, as always.
Nice illustration there,
channel supporter of the show. Hint,
calm, wasn't it?
People dropping one another hints here and there. So yes, get in touch with us through the social medias, Instagram and Twitter, or over on Facebook with the answers to that question, and you stand a chance of winning all of JT's lovely 50th anniversary edition swag there. Okay. From one gift to another, and I believe that the gift that keeps on giving, Simon, it's leather bound, and it's often found.
Oh, is he?
Oh no, please!
It's often found.
I've been in clubs like that. Yes.
Under your arm. I'm talking, of course, everybody, of the Doctor Who diary. So, even though Simon is looking quite wide awake on this edition. On this edition of the show, we're going to head over to the Cozy Corner now and drift back in time to all our yesterdays with the Doctor Who diary. Check it out. Type 40 hits 50 and the diary is open. So what have you got for us this time?
The diary is indeed open. Okay, then 24 new episodes again this week. It's incredible when you think about it. 24 new episodes were screened this week in years gone by. 4 new episodes alone today. Carnival Monsters episode 2, The Armageddon Factor episode 3, Frontios episode 4. That's the one that we are
fabulous.
Specifically today, 54 years today since the Web of Fear episode 1.
Brilliant.
Now we're talking class. Now this is obviously from 1968, the very year I was born, so I am the same age as the Web of Fear episode 1. Written, of course, by Henry Lincoln Mergen Haseman as a follow-up to The Abominable Snowman from the previous year. This particular episode 1, is one of my absolute favourites. It was one of the very first episodes that I personally got on kind of slightly naughty VHS that nobody was supposed to have, but everybody was passing around in dodgy vision, where you'd sit for half an hour with your tracking wheel trying desperately to get it to stay stable for 1.5 seconds and failing. But it's a magnificent episode. The opening scene, once we've been through in the TARDIS, the opening scene for me is the one in Julius Silverstein's house, which is just, it's a masterclass of atmosphere. It's just proper classic Doctor Who. It was originally the first thing was originally History Films in the Natural History Museum, but they refused permission.
Really?
Yeah. And of course, the other people who refused permission to be filmed was London Transport, because they were approached, of course, for the interiors on the London Underground, and London Transport also refused. And then, of course, subsequently made a complaint to the BBC because they thought the sets were so convincing that they genuinely thought the BBC had snuck down at 3 o'clock in the morning.
So for a change, the BBC went to the correct channels and asked politely.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, they got turned down, so they did themselves. And this is a great example of the BBC craftsmanship at its absolute height. That they could create sets that were so convincing that the London Transport people themselves thought that they were actually filmed on real London Underground tubes. And of course, it features the great Jack Watling as Professor Travers returning. And apparently, this was a frequent thing for Deborah Watling to corpse stew, because she just couldn't take her dad seriously in old age. And we know that the Pat Troughton era was one for corpsing and practical jokes. So apparently, Deborah Watling really struggled to hold it together. One of the favorite things for me in Web of Fear, and again, it goes back to that opening scene with Julius Silverstein and Professor Travers, and it's just an utterly sublime scene. And of course, it uses Bela Bartok's music. It's a track called Music for Strings, Percussion, and Celesta, Movement 3. It's a piece of library music. But then, of course,
BBC library.
Kubrick, of course, Stanley Kubrick, then famously used in The Shining. So the Web of Fear is in good company that even Stanley Kubrick picked up the piece of music. So as I say, one of my favourite episodes. Any love out there for the Web of Fear Part 1?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
It's spellbinding, isn't it, Barnaby? This.
Spellbinding has that model there that looks so realistic with the web on it.
Spooky as well. So spooky. Oh god, when they found a lot of the episodes as well, quite recently, I think only about what was it, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah. So, oh god, I was so excited.
Where did they find them?
And in Nigeria.
Was it Nigeria?
Those the ones that Philip Morris found, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Nigeria.
Hi, Phil.
It was
Cool,
Nigeria.
wonderful.
And of course, supposedly episode 3, which is the only one that now doesn't exist, apparently episode 3 was there at the time that Philip Morris found them, and then mysteriously went missing and believed to be sold off to a private collector. It's still believed to be out there in the hands of a private collector.
I've got it over there.
It's like the competition this week. I love it when we get comments like this, Simon. Kev Who Fan Man says, I watched Web of Fear cross-legged in front of the TV, aged 5. It is in the underground, scared me, but never from behind the sofa.
You can see. I mean, the whole of episode 1, as I say, it's a masterclass of atmosphere. It's just magnificent, and it is spooky. It's what Doctor Who used to do so well and doesn't do anymore, and hasn't for years, which is real spooky, under the skin crawling, scariness.
Talking atmospheric.
Talking about under the skin, Simon. The next choice is also a bit of a spooky one.
The next choice is a stonker. It's 40 years. Years since Kinder. And this week in 1982, we were watching episodes 1 and 2 of Kinder, because of course in those days you got 2 episodes a week. And boy, did I love Kinder at the time. Although I didn't understand what was going on, I loved it. Written, of course, by the mysterious, enigmatic Christopher Bailey, not written by Kate Bush, as was widely rumoured at the time, for reasons that have never become entirely clear. But it was believed that Kate Bush had written this under a pseudonym, or possibly Tom Stoppard. Wasn't him either. Really, really weird. One of the things that's interesting with Kinder is the first time since the black and white days that one of the companions, Nissa, takes the whole story out. This used to happen in the black and white days because people were on holiday. Nissa took the story out because there were scripts negotiations apparently going on. One of the first stories that uses Quantel as we spin down into Tegan's eye in episode 1, which I still think is one of the most breathtaking sequences in Doctor Who.
Quantel machine, you mean the special effects?
Quantel machine, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to work with Quantel. Yeah. A long time ago. I did
many years ago, and never quite got the hang of it. For anybody that has got the season 19 Blu-ray box set of this, when you watch episode 1 of Kinder, if you watch it in the 5.1 surround sound mix that Mark Ayres has done, the music as the camera spins down into Tegan's eye, it is literally orgasmic. The way that Mark Ayres has done that sequence, it is breathtaking. One of the things that appeals to me about Kinder is the fact that it relies very heavily on Buddhism. So, for example, Devaloka, the planet that it's set on, is apparently the realm. That's the Buddhist word for the realm of the gods. There are characters in there called Dukkha, which means suffering, Panna, which means wisdom, Karuna, which means compassion, and the Mara itself is a demon.
Steeped in Buddhism. I didn't realise that.
Yeah. And also, of course, it's steeped in biblical references because you've got the serpent, you've got the apple, the task between the Doctor and Todd. You've got the Garden of Eden, and you've also got Australian Aborigine Dreamtime mythology in there, which is a creation myth, all about you guessed it, about the serpent.
Sure, this wasn't written by Kate Bush.
You know what?
You can see why we believed it, can't you?
It probably comes from the fact that she, at this exact point in time, she had a track out called The Dreaming, all about the Aboriginal.
Yeah, exactly.
So perhaps that's where it came from. Not surprisingly, Janet Fielding has frequently said this is her favourite story. Christopher Bailey apparently hated the production because he hated the garden centre jungle. He hated the cardboard city. He hated the shampoo advert hippies, as he called them, that were playing the native. He hated it, which is a shame because I love it. Interestingly, in the season poll for that particular season in Doctor Who Monthly at the time, in 1982, it came last in the season poll, i.e. it was the least favourite story of season 19. By the time we get to 2014, for the big poll that they did then, it came 63 out of 241, making it second only to Earthshock as the second favourite story of season 19. So you can see how people hated it at the time, but it has literally now shot through the roof. And I think people love Kinder.
It's confounding and memorable, isn't it, Simon? I think that's why it stays with you.
I wonder whether people hated it at the time purely because of the snake at the end of episode 4.
No, I think it's because it was different. It was totally different. I mean, to watch that in 1982 after coming from years of Tom's stories and very traditional elements, then you're suddenly given this thing which is basically based on psychoanalysis, a psychiatrical trick. It was totally different, and I don't think in 1982 as a fan base we were ready for it, because I mean, I loved it at the time. I remember being absolutely terrified of it.
Yeah,
So
and mental illness as well.
Then?
Yeah.
Why do we love it now then?
Well, because times have changed and we've grown up. And also, we can understand it more.
Yeah, but also we actually appreciate it now. You know, like I remember when I was first watching, I can't remember which episode of Pertweed one, and it had some really bad special effects. I was laughing at it, but now I can look at it and appreciate it for what it was. You know, when you grow up, you know, you become more mature and stuff.
Well, exactly. I mean, if you were watching it in 1982 as an 11, 12 or 13-year-old, you weren't aware of what we now know as mental awareness and mental well-being. Yeah. And there it is there in 1982.
Yeah,
as everybody basically cracks under the pressure, apart from Todd, although she's on the way. And it's a beautifully written story. It's executed well. I don't think it's got anything to do with the effects or the snake, because we were used to that sort of stuff. I think it's just because we just did not understand it at all until now.
It's that line also. My father beat me every day, never did me any kind of harm. I mean, that's quite dark. I remember being terrified.
Not really, Barnaby, because there were many of us. Well, not many of us, but many young people as children who were beaten every day by their fathers. Because,
not every day.
But I mean, you know, but that it hasn't happened in your lifetime, but it certainly happened in ours. I mean,
in mine,
at school we were threatened with the belt or the ruler.
Oh,
the ruler,
of course, canings, I suppose.
And if you showed your parents up, or you showed your family up, I mean, a lot of us grew up with this very debatably healthy fear of our father. Wait till your father gets home was a very popular cartoon for our generation.
I remember that. Sadako24 in the chat says, given the more nasty, violent direction we know the show took after, we perhaps can appreciate it now as the more spiritual road sadly not taken. That's a really interesting way of looking at it. You know,
Absolutely.
I think very
It
relaxed.
was a different time, wasn't it? So just different time, a different way of thinking as well. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
You know,
the show could have gone anywhere at that point.
The thing about appreciating Doctor Who is that, you know, as we are in this time now, we can go back and look at those things and appreciate for what it was. I don't laugh at the visual effects anymore. I just appreciate what it is, what it was, and what it is now.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, if you look at the television that Doctor Who was competing with as well, I mean, Brideshead Revisited, we've said it before on this show, Doctor Who fitted, and Peter's Doctor fitted very much into that early 80s renaissance of television. However, when you get to Colin, Doctor Who is actually competing with all the American stuff we're getting, the A-Team, all this sort of stuff, which was actually quite violent.
Literally competing in the British schedules as well.
18 wasn't violent. Nobody died.
Staying with the 80s, staying with the 80s, Simon. We've got the next entry in the diary. It's somebody who came to fame, sort of in the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah, well, very much came to fame in the 80s. Warwick Davis. We wish Warwick Davis very happy.
Very good.
Oh, look at the picture.
Warwick is
geek culture icon.
Yes. He is an absolute icon. Of course, to Doctor Who fans, he's known as playing Porridge in Nightmare in Silver.
I'd forgotten he'd been in Doctor Who.
Yeah, he was.
I blanked a lot of that episode.
Yeah, the character. But of course, we most famously know him, of course, as playing the part of Wicket in Return of the Jedi. He was only 12 when he played Wicket, as you can see from that photograph. And for Warwick, this was an absolute godsend because he replaced Kenny Baker. Kenny Baker was originally down to play Wicket, but he was ill, and so George Lucas chose Wicket. Kenny Baker. Warwick Davis, even though he was only 12 at the time. And of course, you know, I mean, Warwick Davis, you know, is absolutely stratospheric. He also, of course, played the lead character of Willow. He's in Harry Potter.
Good,
He played Marvin in the movie version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Again, he's one of these people who the list of credits on IMDb long as your arm. He's been
and him and his friends are probably all out of work now, thanks to this week's nonsense.
Well, who knows? But
he was lucky, wasn't he? Because he sat on Princess Leia's lap, and stuff. So lucky boy, lucky boy.
Used to have lunch with Carrie Fisher most days, so,
Exactly,
so Warwick says. But it took, realistically, Warwick was the way that a lot of actors do. Always claimed to be a Doctor Who fan, didn't he, Simon? I suppose it's strange that it took him so long to appear in it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, why did it take him so long to appear in it? Maybe it's only now that we kind of feel comfortable putting short actors in roles, which has now become, thank goodness, something that we do see a lot more on television.
Not for much longer.
I suppose, to be fair as well, JT, the man has never really been off TV, has he? In one or in movies, even if we can't always see him, he's always been around.
Again, it was that sort of thing. I mean, I go on about this. Britain was a totally different country in the 50s and the 60s. We were not as diverse at all. We didn't have that sort of stuff. I mean, this was a predominantly white, certain height country. And then when other people start to come through, they start to obviously then come into the workplace. It's perfectly natural. So, that's one of the reasons. And certainly when Hollywood came up, there was a lot of work in the 80s and possibly into the 90s for people of all sorts of backgrounds and ethnicities and what have you, and that's become more and more but you have to start somewhere in life.
Yeah, and as I say, Warwick is one of those people who absolutely has transcended anything and everything, because he is now ubiquitous on television, and he's widely loved, and he's such I saw him at a Star Wars celebration thing at XL a few years back. And he's a lovely, lovely human being. He's just a lovely character. He's got a superb outlook and a superb attitude, and it's a lovely bloke.
The thing about him is he's been in so many films that you probably wouldn't even know what film's been in, because he's either been covered by one way or the other. But it was Ricky Gervais that actually put him.
I was going to say,
gave him a household name thing.
Is that where you first recognised him, Charlotte?
Yeah, it was, and I think it's because it was such a clever thing he did with Gervais, that he was playing himself, but it was like a slightly
exaggerated
version.
Exaggerated.
Like in the fact that he was still, you could tell he was a charmer, he was a nice bloke, but he'd always go on about how that time I was in Star Wars. So it was really clever. And then obviously off that he got presenting work, I think, and the sort of personality behind the acting we sort of saw, and people really took to it.
He was playing a caricature of himself, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But as John's just said as John Jordan's just said, John, as he's just said in the chat, life's too short, we'd be banned now, and it was a great comedy. Absolutely,
it was superb. Happy birthday, Warwick! We're glad you got to be in Doctor Who in the end, and maybe we'll see him again in some role or another.
Which Doctor Who was he in?
Nightmare in
Silver.
Nightmare in Silver. The one by Neil Gaiman. Matt Smith.
Not a good story, but he was quite good in it.
He was good.
It's been expelled from my memory.
I was looking to actually be there for one day of recording in studio for Nightmare in Silver, so it was great to see. But Warwick wasn't there, bless him. So I never got to meet Warwick. There we go.
Perhaps he was there and you didn't see him.
Maybe he was hiding from me. Right, moving on. Listen, we literally couldn't let this week pass without mentioning a true legend who, bless her, Liz Sladen would be 76 today. Well, this week rather. The great, wonderful, so sadly missed Liz Sladen. Who died in 2011, aged 65, and said she would have been 76. This week, born in Liverpool, of course, same as Tom Baker, 1946. She was born in Liverpool, same as Tom Baker, which is one of the reasons why they bonded so well, because they were both Scousers. She started in rep in Liverpool, and that's where she met Brian Miller, who remained her husband right the way through until the day that she died. They were an absolutely devoted couple. And I remember when Liz Sladen came up for the Lunatics event, the Mega Quiz in 1988. She came with Brian. They were inseparable. You know, he drove her up there, and they were both there together. Just a lovely couple. Her first TV role was in Coronation Street in 1970. Then she went on to small roles in Doomwatch, Z-Cars. Some mothers do have them, famously. She's only on
Fruit and Veg shop.
2 minutes, but it's sublime. And then, of course, she played Sarah for 3 years in Doctor Who and left acting to bring up her daughter, Sadie. And then, of course, returned. Really, her return to acting came with School Reunion in 2006. That was her return to acting. And, of course,
she great in that, though,
ended up with an entirely second career thanks to that, and thanks to Russell for putting her in there. Because she obviously went into Sarah Jane Adventures, which ran for 3-4 years, and won RTS awards like nobody's business. She's a legend. We love her. Gosh, you know, can we ever say too much about Liz Sladen? I don't think we can.
No.
She looked great. She looked great when she came back. I mean, it didn't look like she aged that much at all when she was in School Reunion. Because when she said to the doctor, "Oh, I got old," I'm like, "Where? Where did you get old?" You know what I mean? She just looked fantastic.
We've got a comment here from Grand Moff Miranda in the chat here. Barnaby, who says that she's the best assistant there was. And when Simon then talks back across her life with those facts, and you hear those words, and you remember that she's no longer with us, it's still, even after 10 years, it seems sort of untrue. She seems so alive, doesn't she?
Yeah, you're right, Dan. That you've hit the nail on the head there. She seems so alive. Her roles are always so alive. When you see her in interviews, she is so alive. And yeah, it's still. She was such a vibrant person. It is kind of hard to get your head around the fact she's still no longer there. I still remember, as I'm sure we all do, the day that I remember sitting here about 10 o'clock at night, just suddenly seeing on Facebook that she died, and whoa, you know, your heart just skipped a beat. I mean, look at her there. I mean, she's just adorable, isn't she? Who could not love Liz Sladen? Is there anybody out there that doesn't like Liz Sladen? Seriously, I don't think there can be.
I've never met a fan who doesn't. Obviously, I've met people who have different ideas about who their favourite companions were, but no, never met anybody who doesn't love Liz Sladen and who doesn't still miss her.
Bless her. Happy birthday, Liz, up there. We do miss you. Okay, changing tack completely. Bit of silliness because it is the 50th episode and I am wearing sequins. So today, back in 1966, we were enjoying watching Valerie Singleton making Dalek cakes on blue pizza. I mean, come on, bring it on.
Dear, oh dear.
Okay. Think about this. There is a link to this. It's not on YouTube. This clip actually isn't on YouTube, but it is on Facebook on the BBC archive page. Dan, maybe we can put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's find it, and we'll make sure that people can go and watch this.
If you've never seen this, it is priceless. You have to see it. About 5 minutes of Valerie Singleton making, well, not just Dalek cake. She makes a beautiful Dalek cake, but she also makes a Dalek sandwich as well. I mean, you literally make this stuff up. This screened not long after the end of the Daleks' master plan, to put it in context. So we'd had 12 weeks of the Daleks, and now we see Valerie Singleton chopping up a Swiss roll, covering it in chocolate buttercream, trying desperately to stick strings of licorice round it that won't stick. Then sticking.
Oh, she did well.
She's not allowed to call them Smarties. She has to call them Button Sweets.
Yeah, she has. Because
I love these.
BBC.
I love this kind of thing because they're genocidal monsters and just make these lovely kind of cakes out of them. It's so wonderful.
It shows you how popular, though, that Dalek Mania was there. I think if you actually have the DVD edition of Dalek Invasion of Earth, I think that it's actually on there.
It is on the Dalek Invasion of Earth DVD. You're quite right. You can see in there, the bottom left of the picture as well. They've also got walnut whip Daleks.
Walnut whip Daleks,
I didn't see those.
They try to find cakes that had the same shape as the Daleks and stick things on it.
Those are chocolate cream walnut Daleks. But you've got cocktail sticks sticking out of them. Heaven only knows what Ray Cusick would have thought of this. And
well, he was there.
She makes a sandwich and she sticks currants on the side of the sandwich for the blobs. And of course, as can be seen in the photographs, of course, how else would you end a slot like this than with two Daleks arriving for the tea party, and they have a brilliant discussion between them. What do you think of our tea party? And they and the other Dalek says, there is too much chocolate. It is an insult to the Daleks. Earth children will laugh at the Dalek masquerade. And what do? They exterminate the tea party. Of course they do. They obliterate, eliminate.
Yeah.
You really can't take them anywhere, can you, Simon? You just can't take Daleks anywhere.
Let's not forget, JT, this is canon, isn't it? You know, this is definitely... They did appear in the Blue Peter Studios, and they did invade Valerie Singleton's tea party.
I was going to say, this is the first I've heard of this.
We will put the link down in the show notes sometime on Friday.
We've actually discussed before doing a Blue Peter edition of this show. We must actually get that sorted together, because Charlotte Barnaby, you will not believe the relationship that Blue Peter has had with Doctor Who since Doctor Who came way after Blue Peter. And they've been very supportive of this. We've got to get that sorted. I'll make a note.
Everybody wanted the Blue Peter badge.
I've got one. It's over there.
I remember that.
Why am I not surprised, JT? Why am I not surprised?
We need to contact Blue Peter. We need to ask them for Blue Peter badges, and then we'll do a whole show on Blue Peter.
No. It's the other way around. You have to earn your Blue Peter badge. So we do the show, then we send it to the editorial team, and then we get the badges. That's the way to do it.
Anyway, follow the link in the notes below when you can, and you'll enjoy it.
That was the Doctor Who Diary. Thank you again, as always, Simon, for putting that together. Lots of fun and some great reactions. We've stirred lots of memories in the chat, as always. People watching on YouTube and Facebook, keep those comments coming. Obviously, there'll be more Doctor Who Diary as we continue our mission throughout all time and space. But yeah, thanks again for that, Simon. We'll be back again with more of that next time.
Just got to follow up very quickly. Lord Thoth wants to know, what is Blue Peter? Oh my life!
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will sort out a special edition, Lord Thothy. So stay tuned, and we'll have it to you. We'll do something.
It's a kid show.
It's a kid show. Now it's almost that time where we go for the time-honoured, designated Type 40 ad break, a time where you can go and refill your glasses or empty your bladders. But before we do, I want to just acknowledge somebody out there in the great fandom, the Doctor Who fandom, and at the very heart of YouTube geek culture, I feel, and who was an integral part in Type 40 Live becoming a thing. Okay, so this week, friend of the show and friend of ours, Gary Beekler on Nerdrotic. Over on Nerdrotic, Gary and his team, they're celebrating his 400,000 subscribers on the main Nerdrotic channel.
God.
An incredible achievement. Amazing. It just keeps going and going and going. So much great entertainment over on there, obviously. So congratulations,
How's he done that,
Gary,
then?
And everybody.
Because he's good.
Wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, sincerely, he does watch the show. He's very generous in the things that he says about Type 40 Live. I do, but even if I don't watch them myself, I get sent links saying, "Oh, Gary was saying this," or we've been sent because Gary said that we should watch your show. So we do appreciate all that. So thank you for that, Gary. And again, congratulations, Nerdrotic, because I know it's very much a team effort. And here's to 500,000, because Gary was here for the pilot edition of Type 40 Live, which we put out. When was that, Ian? It was in the summer of...
Long time ago.
Yes, it was. I've got the dates here. So it was June the 14th of 2020 when we ran this originally one-off live edition of Type 40 here on YouTube. So Gary was one of the guests there, along with that starry-eyed girl, Sarah Graham. She was here with us. And Blue, lovely Blue Blonnet.
Yeah.
Blue Bonnet Whovian, and Chris there from Bowls Trek, as it was then, and you were there as well, weren't you, Mega Geek?
I was indeed.
So the premise for that was that we, between us, we all came up with our own interpretations of what we would have done if we'd have taken over as the showrunner instead of Chris Chibnall back in 2017. It was great fun. And so much so that we kind of wanted to do it again, but weren't really sure what to do. And so gradually, out of the body of other video content that we used to do on the channel, Type Over 40, it eventually morphed into this kind of format that you see now. The format is always changing, isn't it, Simon? But here we are, 50 shows in, And I'm as energized by all this as ever. It's great to see the audience growing and the community growing as well, isn't it? But you look back at these early shows, and it's funny, isn't it? You think how far it's come so quickly and how much has changed, and yet when you go back and watch the conversations, it's a lot of the same gags, a lot of the same.
What are you saying, Dan?
But it's it's sort of brought us all closer as people and as friends, and we have talked a lot of Doctor Who across these 50 shows.
How many hours is that? It's like that's got to be like 100+ hours.
Yeah.
Well over that, because some of them go over time. There was one that went for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think that was the 11 Faces of Doctor Who show we did, and we were on for about 3 days.
I'm feeling terrible for that.
Yeah, that seemed like a fun idea at the time. So
I was late to work the day after. We were still broadcasting, so it was like, oh my god,
Yes. So obviously when we started doing it, and we had so much fun doing the run the show thing, didn't we, Ian? And we weren't really sure how to sort of bring the two formats together. But in time, I think what I realised was that having Type Over 40 and Type 40 live streams under different kind of strands wasn't the best idea. It was best to bring it all together under one and sort of push on from there. And there's been no stopping us since. And thank you, everybody, as always, for being here with us throughout the journey, the people who've been with us from the beginning. Hold tight. Hope you stay with us for however long we do this, and everybody who's come along since, because it's continuing to grow. New subscribers all the time. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell so you don't miss the next one. Go back and watch them all on the playlist there, JT. That's what they should do, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And can I just remind everybody as well that what we've I like to say this, we've sort of morphed into a magazine show, if you like, based on very much traditions that we all grew up with, and it is a magazine show. But don't forget, we do tie in with the Type 40 page on Facebook, where a lot of us will comment or put bits of tidbits in, or we'll say what's coming up in the show and what have you, and we're all there as well, and we're all arguing, and we're all having fun. If you haven't found the Facebook page there, if you are watching on Facebook, come and join us here on the magazine show as well. Do like and subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe.
I think
what was that, Ian? Say that again. I didn't get that quite.
Subscribe. That's all I can say.
One of the things I enjoy about it, Ian, is that we don't all see eye to eye over everything all the time. So it makes for great conversation, and I think it makes for pretty damn good viewing too.
I remember the days when Charlotte never used to say anything. She used to start she'd even say anything. And then it would be like, I'm going to have my tea now, and she'd be off, that kind of
And guess what? You can still watch them by going through the previous episode. She's still going for a tea. So,
and I'm like, not this big. I don't have, my camera's not full.
That's right.
So, you can see the evolution of my ability with technology.
And I also remember the day when Barnaby joined us, when he opened his mouth and hello, we were like,
hello. My name's Barnaby.
I enjoy the television
here.
Do you know, another important part of this show are the ad breaks.
Yes, the ad breaks.
They very much are. And it is that time again now. Here we are with more of Doctor Who flavoured adverts from times past for you to enjoy. You can't fit in your tea, but you can fit in a pee, or maybe pouring a drink, or you can just sit and watch them and enjoy them along with us. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more Type 40 Live.
Come closer, my friends. Behold the face of destiny. Now spin your Cadbury's cream egg with me and discover how will you eat yours. 1. Eat your egg slice. 2. Find the star and lick it off. 3. Eat it whole in 1. 4. Spin some more. 5. Give your egg a good licking. I've seen the future. And it's egg safe!
How will you eat yours?
We love you! Give us a cuddle!
Oh, I couldn't wear this. It's far too revealing.
Yes. Cut it off. Cut it all off.
I tell you what, love. Let's ask your mother around this weekend. We haven't seen her in ages.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Peace and love!
Yeah, Rover 600 automatic. Nightfire red. 14 months old. Leather seats, beige to match the interior. Yes, we've got one. Has it got the walnut dash?
At Rover dealers, we believe you should have the same choice of used cars as new ones, which is why every dealer has access to thousands of quality-checked used Rovers.
Yeah, what's this about you writing off CJ's Rover?
Including just the one you need.
We're back with more Type 40 Live here with you on the Facebook channel. Type 40 Live turns 50, and we are having a bit of a party and a bit of a giggle and a bit of a laugh with all our friends here in the live chat here on Facebook and YouTube, and a panel, a sparkling panel, not just the conversation, in what some of us are wearing. So thank you to everybody who's joined us for the show. Let's catch up with people in the chat for a few minutes. Rock on, Lemmy, says Cymix.
Yeah.
Kev, Who Fan Man says, I love the ad breaks on Type 40 Live. I'm glad you love them.
I don't think anybody goes for a pee during the ad breaks. I think they go for a pee.
I do.
Well, we know you do, Mr. Canetto, man. Yeah, you can't hold it in for another tracks, can you now?
I'm old, what can I say?
Oh, that's true, yes.
Peace
I'm
and
dreading
love,
being
says
your
Lord
age, I tell you.
What a great message.
Peace and
so
love.
yes, people are watch the adverts and commenting about the sites there. People, Julian Raxel noticed Mel Smith there in the Kit Kat ad with the Daleks. It's he's another guy. He was obviously a major face on British TV in the 80s and 90s,
yeah.
and then sadly passed away quite suddenly. I'd love to have had him in Doctor Who.
He was just making it as a director as well. And then
he was, wasn't he? He was just starting. Yeah.
Made some fun films, Mr. Bean, and a couple of other comedies. I think he may have even done one of the Johnny. What are they called? The ones that
Johnny English.
Johnny English.
That's it. Was he behind one of those?
I don't know.
I think he was. I think he was involved with one of them. Yeah.
Keep the comments coming, everybody in the chat. We're loving the fact that you're here with us celebrating Type 40 turning 50.
For God's sake! For God's sake!
So here we go. This is a little bit of fun for us, and hopefully for you too. We have been thinking back over the last 50 shows and thinking about some of our pearls of wisdom here on Type 40 that we've shared with you guys, and backwards and forwards too, because it is a two-way thing. But in Doctor Who history, of course, there have been lots of memorable dialogue, I suppose you could call it, that has stayed with us over the years. And us all being mega fans, a bit like you, we've committed some of it to memory, be they the large speeches written by Stephen Moffat for Peter Capaldi, for example. All those smaller bits. I'm very much the same as you, JT. It doesn't do much for me. But all the smaller bits of dialogue from the classic show that just sort of nuzzle in there with us. So what we thought we'd do here on the panel is go through a few of those, put up some great Doctor Who quotes, and see who can identify where they're from. So first, Simon, this one's to you. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on who's watching.
I'm useless at this.
It better be classic Who, otherwise
I'm looking forward to this. I'm loving this.
Okay, well, here we go. Try your luck with this.
I love a good quote.
On that bombshell, try your luck with this one, Simon. Who said this? Always take a banana to a party. Bananas are good. Who said that?
I haven't got a clue, but it's got to be the 11th Doctor.
Smith.
No, it's Eccleston.
No.
Yeah, it's Eccleston.
We've got conflict. We've got two for Matt Smith.
I'm going with Matt Smith. 11th Doctor. It's got to be 11th Doctor.
That is.
No, it's. I know. I can guess which episode.
It's
I'm
Chris.
Show myself up now.
It's Chris, isn't it?
It is Chris.
It's the it's a Doctor Dances two-parter. I'm trying to remember which one.
Empty Child, Charlotte.
That one.
Oh, you're right. It is Empty Child. Of course. Well, there we go. I told you if it's me who I'm
That's not the answer on the card, believe it or not. It was said by the 10th Doctor to Rose in Series 2 in The Girl in the Fireplace.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right, okay.
We're all wrong.
Oh, my God.
Aiden has it in the chat. Aiden got it right.
Well done.
Right. Look at the chat.
Well done, Aiden.
The girl in the fireplace. Yes, we have absolutely got that bang on. Lots of people went for the empty child. No, but it wasn't.
Kelly Lynch agrees with me. It's such a Matt Smith thing to say. It is. It just sounds so Matt Smith.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. But I tell you what, it was picked up. It was picked up from the empty child, wasn't it, Charlotte? Because the Ninth Doctor says he set fire to a banana thing.
There's something
about so long ago.
No, he blew a weapons factory up, and
it's a banana plantation now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. That's it.
Okay, JT, this one's for you, my friend.
Okay.
Check it out. When you're a kid, they tell you it's all grow up, get a job, get married, get a house, have a kid, and that's it. But the truth is, the world is so much stranger than that. It's so much darker and so much madder and so much better. Who said that one, JT?
Ace.
Ooh, you know what? If somebody had put that under my nose, I'd have probably said Ace as well. Any other takers? Any other takers here on the panel?
That's from Love and Monsters, isn't it? Isn't that from the main guy from Love and Monsters, who I don't remember his name?
Mark played, yeah.
Yes.
The actor was Mark
I
something,
think he says
wasn't
that's the last line or something at the end, I would say.
That is correct, Barnaby. The character's name was Elliot Pope.
God, I got a question from Love and Monsters right.
As played by Mark Warren there in that episode in Series 2, Episode 10. Yeah, it's I've always liked that piece of dialogue. Oh, we've got plenty of people got it right in the chat. Sadako24 and Aidan again. Aidan McGeer, he got that one. Nice one, Aidan says. Yeah. See, people have remembered these and committed them to memory too. So,
this is showing a bit. This is showing a little bit of difference as well, because I can remember a lot of quotes from proper Doctor Who, not really taking in anything from the reboot version at all, because it's just all been bang, 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 bang. You know,
I kind of like the new Who. So
the more I haven't watched it, the more I'm actually beginning to not like it, because it doesn't. No, I'm being serious. It just hasn't. The more we come away from it, because I don't think I haven't watched it since 2017, and even then I was floundering. And the more I've come away, I just think, what was that about?
Anyway,
and nothing's really gone in.
We've got.
Oh, that was rude. Thank you very much.
We've got one for you, Ian.
Remember that next time you're doing a diary.
The universe is big. It's vast and complicated and ridiculous, and sometimes, very rarely, impossible things just happen, and we call them miracles. Who said that, Ian?
I don't know, but it's probably John, wasn't it?
It's definitely not Pip and Jane Baker. Definitely lots and lots of unusual language.
I don't know. I'm used to things like this. I would guess it might be John. I don't know.
It's we have got several people. I thought you'd get this because I know it's your favourite. It's Matt Smith. It's the 11th
Matt. It was either Matt or John.
You said this in the 12th episode of Series 5, which was called The Big Bang, wasn't it? I think.
Was he flapping his hand?
Who knows?
Well, Big Bang was the finale, so would have been episode 13 if it was Big Bang, I think.
Oh, there we go. So it's the Pandorica opens then.
Yeah, it's probably
I always
Pandorica.
get those two mixed up.
I'm watching them all again, actually, New Who. So because we did the Christmas invasion, so it just was when I was watching the rest of them as well. So
episode 99 of Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast, is a review of the Christmas invasion. That was a lot of fun to record, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was.
With with Wendy from the Department of Wendology. Yes. So here we are. I've got another one. This one's for you, Barnaby.
You probably get this one.
A straight line may be the shortest distance between 2 points, but it is by no means the most interesting. Who said that?
Oh no, I don't know. Is this John? It sounds. I'm going to say it's got to be third Doctor. I'm thinking.
You're right. It is. Any idea which story?
Okay, straight line. Oh gosh, I'm going to say it's one of the ones. It's one of the unit ones. I'm going to say Sea Doubles. Go for Sea Doubles.
It's from any ideas, JT? Simon?
Sorry, what?
JT, I don't know. Do you know, JT?
A straight line may be the shortest distance between 2 points, but it's by no means the most interesting. Day of the Daleks.
Oh, you actually thematically, you're not far off. It is a time travel episode. It's the Time Warrior.
Time Warrior. Oh, with Sarah. Yeah.
Would have known that.
Cracking stuff. Okay, which means
we're all rubbish.
I've got no chance then.
We're not fans. Know anything.
I'll throw my badge away now.
I'm ashamed of myself. We didn't know that with the Time Warrior.
Losing cool points here.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for you,
Doctor Who fans with cool points. Don't be silly.
Okay, Charlotte.
Charlotte's just going to get it right.
You don't just give up. You don't just let things happen. You make a stand. You say no. You have the guts to do what's right, even when everyone else says just runs away.
But because it's about running away, I think it's New Who, but I'm trying to narrow it down to which Doctor.
Peter.
Because that sounds like a New Who Doctor.
Yeah, it does. You're quite right. It does.
Sounds like Peter.
No, you have the guts to do it. Is it part of the Be Kind speech? So is it Peter?
It isn't. Any other takers? Anybody else can work this one out?
Isn't it? Is it from the last one I watched with the Cybermen where Capaldi's talking to the Master?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but Dan just said no.
Is that Dark Water?
I've no idea. No,
that's the Doctor.
The one where he was supposed to be regenerating, and then they had to get him back.
Yeah.
No, was it a Jodie episode?
Yeah.
No, it's way too grand for her.
That's way too well written.
I would not do that to you or me. You have lots of people got this in the chat.
That's the one. Raymond Williams said the Doctor falls.
I was gonna say, have you been sneaky? Is that War Doctor?
No. It's Rose Tyler who said this.
Oh, really?
In the Parting of the Ways. Series 1 finale. Rose, when she wants to go back and save Chris, the Night Doctor says Richard Brooks.
I think she says it to her mum, doesn't she? She tells Jackie that because Jackie's basically saying, "No, he's left you.
Right.
Just stay here." You're saying
it's in the chip shop, isn't it? It's in the chip shop.
Yeah, they're all sitting around eating chips, and she says it to her mum, and she kicks the table as well underneath. That's not pretty.
I don't remember this at all. It's so long ago.
I can remember episodes, just not dialogue.
It's after they've tried to. She's been taken back out of the game station, and she's just eating chips.
Yeah, he's sent her back.
And her mom's trying to say, "Come on, it's great now. You can settle back into life here." And she's not happy. She's not best pleased.
Okay, fingers on buzzers for this one. Then who knows this one? The very powerful and the very stupid have one thing in common.
Tom, they
views to fit the facts. They alter the facts to fit the views.
Yeah, it's Tom. I'm trying to think. I know the quote very well. Which story is it?
It's robots, is it not?
No, it's not Robots to Death, is it? Is it Robots?
It's not.
No,
it's not.
It is Tom.
Yeah, it's Tom. It's definitely Tom.
It is Tom Baker.
Oh, I know this so well, and I can't think which story it's from.
You should have done some easy ones, Dan. We're dying here. We're dying here.
Myself and the very stupid have one thing in common.
See anybody pyramids? No, it's not Pyramids of Mars. Kev in the chat. I don't think
See if we've got any takers. No, it's not Pyramids of Mars, but everybody knows it's Tom. We do have a winner though. We do have somebody who's got this. It is Sadako 24's guest, right?
Face of Evil. Well done, Sadako.
Face of Evil. So we're in the right time period there, and we have. I think we've got. Let's have. Okay, let's have two more.
I like these. These are fun.
Yeah, I like this game. Yeah.
Barnaby, the day is coming when I'll look into that man's eyes, my doctor, and he won't have the faintest idea who I am.
Oh, I know that one.
I know that. You know that,
Barnaby.
That's Freemageman. That's a Family of Blood, or the one before that.
No, it's not. No,
it's not Freemageman. Hang on, give me a second. The day's coming. I'll look at them.
Isn't it a River Song?
Yes.
I was going to say spoilers.
Yeah, it's River Song.
It's River Song, isn't it? River Song.
It is River Song. Any ideas which episode?
It's the episode where she's too old to be. She's old enough to be mum. That's what it was.
It's Silence in the Library, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. That's what I thought as well when I saw it. It's not.
Is it the one after it?
Oh no, is it a Matt episode?
It is a Matt episode.
No, honestly, I don't remember much of the new era at all. So it's all a blur.
Town of Angels or the one before that.
I can literally picture her saying it now, but I cannot think of the episode. Because I think she tells it to Amy or Rory.
By process of elimination, people are getting there in the live chat on YouTube.
Have we got one yet? Have we got a winner yet?
We have. Yes, we have. It's the yes, Lord Thoth is correct. It's the Impossible Astronaut from Series 6 that comes from. Wonderful stuff.
I forgot that as well.
just one more to finish off this this golden round of sparkling dialogue from Doctor Who related. Who said Doctor Who has been woked up to the wazoo? Who said that?
That was Ian. No, it was Ian. Ian said that.
Ian, what have you got to say for yourself? Do you remember this?
Is it not true? That's what I can say.
It's absolutely true. Listen.
I should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That's got to be one of the quotes 50 shows with Type 40 Live that stuck in my memory. Was Gary Akers, the Retro Doctors. All of us have said
all
that.
Of us, everybody did. Yeah,
Probably right. Yeah. So that on that note, I thought that a nice bit of fun there to mark out.
That was really fun. I like that.
Our 50th live stream show here with you. If you enjoyed that too, please like the video. I keep telling you this, so please do it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Come on, so many people watching, so many people commenting. I appreciate
so many people on Facebook.
It takes a while for people to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, particularly if you're watching in the Type 40 Facebook group. Go over to YouTube later on and hit that little button to subscribe, and then you can join in wherever you are on the device of your choice. Okay.
As the doctor says, be kind. Subscribe. That's what I can say.
Do we have to bribe people to subscribe to something? Is that what
Yes. No.
So that was a lot of fun. So thank you for that. It was. Let's go survey the damage in the live chat. See if anybody's. Yes. Well, no, but I don't think anybody got several of those. But yeah, it's a great game. Says Caves of Andrewzani. Glad you enjoyed it. I think you enjoyed it a lot more than the panel did. Weekly quiz, please, says Blue Planet. I can't unsee that, says Kelly. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
That picture.
The picture.
I don't know what she means. I'm sure. Okay, we have, as we were saying earlier on, the Doctor Who universe being such as it is rife at the moment with rumours. And to be fair, to go over all of them, I'm not sure where we start. But the one that I thought that may interest you guys is this one. Because, rumours are starting to bubble up and circulate that as much as we're not particularly looking forward, in fact, we're not at all anticipating in any way the Centenary Special, there are rumours that one classic character will be returning to the cast as part of that, and that Sophie Aldred could be playing Ace again in this. Have you guys heard the rumours? JT, have you heard anything about this? And I know you don't watch the show as it is currently, but there were efforts made to get Sophie back as this character in live action, weren't there, when Russell was running the Sarah Jane adventures? It would be nice for Sophie, wouldn't it, I suppose?
I don't care at all. And there weren't actually, Russell never approached Sophie to appear in the Sarah Jane adventures. No. It was something that was in his head. So that never actually came to a reality. It was just all in his head. Again, I think this is one of those mad certain people on Twitter, that certain groups who I feel are dangerous, coming up with fantasies. That's why I think this is, because they're desperate for another female character to fall in love with the Doctor. So I think it's all nonsense. There you go.
I do like it though. She's probably the best thing about the
I think past characters now need to stay in the past.
You may be right, JT. You may be right.
There's no maybe about it. The show has to now reboot itself and look forward. Bringing somebody back for a one-off just to fill out some sort of lesbian fetish is just nonsense. I think it's ridiculous.
But if it wasn't filling out a lesbian fetish, if it was something like Liz Sladen, I would give pretty much all of New Who for that one episode of School Reunion.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Obviously, Sophie did play Ace in the trailer for the series, for the season 26 box set, didn't she, Simon? Very, very briefly, in one of Pete McTighe's wonderful little minisodes there. And it was nice to see her back then.
Well, I thought what was interesting with that is one of my problems I had with Ace, and I have to be honest, I do agree with JT on this one. I'm not desperately excited about seeing Ace back particularly, because I agree. I think the show does need to move on. But what I liked about the trailer for season 26 that Sophie did, I liked what they did with the character. Because I can never quite think, what would they do with Ace? What would she be doing now? And so the fact that what are they made of? They're made ahead of some charity organisation, haven't they?
A charitable Earth.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I can buy that. That just seems like a nice progression for Ace's character.
But just leave it there. I mean, have the nod like Russell did in Sarah Jane, and just leave it there. So because why does everything have to be brought back or shown for real on television? Why can't people use their imagination and just let the characters lie?
Well, I know, but maybe because it's good. I like classic stuff to come back because for me it legitimizes the new series to an extent.
But it also legitimizes the Jodie Whittaker era and that version of the show.
I suppose, though, Ian, we are living in an age of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
We are.
Thrives on connective tissue. So, I don't disagree with anything that the guys have said on this, generally speaking. But this is, for those who are invested in, that they're going to see this as a celebration episode. And this is somebody who, just as I'm really fond of Sophie, I'm really fond of Ace, just as I am of Leela or anybody else.
I agree with JT. I think we should move forward, but if they move forward and it's very successful, maybe just one episode of doing a member berry, just one, not pepper it like they've been doing before.
You don't necessarily need it if they go where they're going to go, possibly. And you're mentioning this thing down there. What did you call it?
Marvel universe.
The Marvel model. And I'm sure that's what Russell. I'm sure that's what Russell will want to do because he's stated it, and that's going to cost money. That's going to open up a whole wealth of opportunities. We talked about it before. We can do they can do animations on it. They can bring in brand new strong characters that could spin off like they did previously with the very successful initial series of it, which was Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures, and that's gone. They can do all that again. But there's nothing to say there that you couldn't have somebody like Ace coming back in a little story later on in her own series where she hasn't got entanglements with the Doctor. But to bring it back into the show, this rumor just seems a bit silly to me.
Just out of interest. Sorry, go on, Charlotte.
No, I was going to say, I've got a feeling this rumor could come from the fact that Sophie has written a book with Jodie's Doctor in it.
Yes, and they might want to, plug it again.
Don't bring it back.
Yeah,
don't bring it back.
But I'm just thinking, how a lot of these rumors tend to be recycled information or information that was something else.
Charlotte,
I think this could maybe be the fact she's written that book a couple of years ago. It had Ace and the 13th Doctor in it.
Oh, it didn't sell well.
I don't know how it sold. I just know it. So it makes. I think this could be where this is coming from. And
the paperbacks just come out, Charlotte.
Okay. And without going too heavy, Sophie's got certain politics that matches, I think, some of the current era.
Don't bring it back.
She does.
I've never heard her speak on those things, but obviously I've seen her visit, for example, Neil Cole's exhibition at the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi, Simon. I've seen everything, how open she is with all of fandom. She's not somebody.
She's a great ambassador for who fandom she is.
I sincerely think that she is. And in the same way that she's not the only one, Louise Jameson is too. Barnaby, you're very much a McCoy fan of that whole era, aren't you? And whilst your experiences largely mirror mine with this era, you've pushed on through it. Given the fact, if you are going to put yourself through that last special, seeing a familiar face, would it sweeten it?
I am into masochism. Yes. Carry on.
Will they bring back his spoons though? That's what I'm saying.
Would it pep things up for you a little just to see Sophie as Ace potentially one more time?
I'm a huge nostalgia junkie, and I personally love it when classic monsters, classic companions turn up, and classic characters turn up as well. Even when they mentioned even when they mentioned Harry in, I think it was in a Peter Capaldi episode, I love that. That suddenly Harry was creating gases that just killed Zygons. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Harry would do that. But I like that they sort of mentioned it. Yeah. But again, I mean, it's going to be a non-answer for me. Again, in the current version of the show, they would ruin her. So
It's a genuine
it'd be lovely
concern,
to see her, but in the current version with the current writing, they would ruin her. So I am again be very boring and be on the fence.
What makes me laugh about some of these people who are putting these rumors out is I don't actually honestly think they understand production. The show's finished. Chibnall, Whittaker, all of them, they've gone. They finished last year. It's all done. It's in the can. It's in the very last bits and pieces. You can't actually say something's happening now because it's all done last year. So you've got that
NDAs would have been signed months ago, wouldn't they, JT?
Yeah, absolutely. And what were non-disclosure agreements, by the way, that is for anybody. But what we've got to look forward to now is the fact a brand new production unit is in there with two brand new companies running Doctor Who, putting a new team together with new ideas coming through for this year and into next year, especially. It just makes me laugh that this think something could be happening now when it's not. It's in the can. It was done last year. The Chibnall era is gone. It's finished. Everybody was. Everybody finished.
It is a done deal, a dead duck, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it is. It is all over, and nothing we can say or do is going to change any of that. I suppose it's up to us whether we. Well, I think everybody will be taking a look at the last 5 minutes or so, won't they? For the obvious reasons. You were in two minds a few months ago, JT, weren't you?
That's because we were talking about doing it. I'm really not. I probably won't.
See it on YouTube
when the clock's reset.
I don't know if I'm bothered. I've only the only things I've seen, Ian, is by mistake because Facebook really annoys me now.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, you could scroll up Facebook and nothing would play, and now, of course, it does.
I hate that too.
And it adds to their bloody rhetoric, doesn't it? It adds to their viewing thing. So that's how I know she can't deliver a line. Because I scroll up and then this awful accent gets me, and it's so hollow and not delivered properly, and just oh please, what is this? Coronation Street? No, I can't. No, can't be done with it.
We have a comment here from Kev Who Fan Man, who says, after the collection's season 24 trailer, I really wanted to see new adventures with the Seventh Doctor and Mel, even though I wasn't a big Mel fan at the time of broadcast. I think that's the beauty of a nice bit of writing.
Mark Milford gives an interesting suggestion in the chat here. I quite like this. I've never thought of this, but it's interesting. Ace gets K9 after Sarah Jane. That's just an interesting. I'm not saying I necessarily like that idea, but it's interesting, isn't it, Jason?
It's infuriating. I know that Bob and Paul did not like that at all. Russell did not ask for permission to do that, and they were not into that idea at all.
Did it happen then?
It was when the lockdown, Simon, when they were doing those lockdown stories online and stuff, and then it was all ruined by a particular writer who will remain unmentioned. And it was all that lovely jolly time when fans were actually coming back together and celebrating. And then Russell wrote. I thought it was awful actually because everybody was at Sarah's funeral.
Oh, I did see this, and obviously it's passed over. I've forgotten
exactly. And I thought it was one of the worst things he's ever put to paper and published.
So what did happen? Did he say that Ace did get K9?
It was implied that K9 went off with Ace, and I know that Bob and Paul were not too happy with that.
Well, they're quite right. That Bob wouldn't be and Paul wouldn't be seen.
See, now you talk about New Who. I've forgotten all of this stuff from the lockdown because obviously to me it's not official.
No, it's not.
As much as I enjoyed some of it, not so much other bits, and partly because of the reasons that you're describing, JT. I blocked some of it out because it just didn't fit with my visions of how characters were, and it's not part of the canon.
Mr. Tegan, please.
Yeah, a prime example. While we're talking about, with Sophie Aldred, I think she's absolutely wonderful. Somebody's just been mentioning here about the fan projects that she gets involved with. She's been involved with Doctor Who Velocity, and there's been another fan project that Jonathan Baines has put together involving Daleks. She stepped into all these kind of fan films, really, and she's rolled up her sleeves and got in there and just had fun with fans. And that's certainly why I like Sophie Aldred so much and respect her so much. And I think that's the same of a lot of the fan base. And of course, the Sylvester McCoy era has been, I think, reappraised of late. And without going into this too deep, because I only read about it literally an hour before I came on the stream, it's been revealed in the Doctor Who magazine today that's just come out today. Doctor Who magazine, published today by Panini. They have published the figures, the final ratings, in a full spread for Series 13 for Doctor Who Flux. And they've got a breakdown of the 7 days, the 24 days, and the final figures.
What is it? Pull out memento of the viewing figures, is it?
Well, it reveals that on the night, the live viewers for each episode of Doctor Who Flux were actually the lowest viewers that Doctor Who has ever had on a night, including the Sylvester McCoy era, way lower than Battlefield. It's all there broken down in the brand new Doctor Who magazine. That's I think it's subscribers and all the supermarkets. If you're lucky and find a supermarket that still carries it. But yeah, it's all in there. Tom Spilsbury is painstaking with that research that he puts into that, as I'm sure you all know. And bless him, Tom's been writing for that magazine. He was editor of it quite a long time. He does spin things where he can. There's no spinning these figures. The latest Doctor Who magazine has just been released today, and it's available in the shops. You can go and see for yourselves.
So does
see exactly what
so does he spin the figures in this one to make them sound good? How can you?
Well, I'll tell you what he does. Derek Brady, my friend, are you still watching us? Are you with us? Because Derek, if you go along to the Type 40 Facebook page, very kindly photographed a picture, which you can't say, of the magazine. And I read this and nearly died laughing, because Doctor Who magazine, you should really be called yourself Doctor Who propaganda, because here's in big bold here, Doctor Who is scheduled against much tougher competition than it's used to.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very.
Against reminds me.
The Jodie Whittaker era more recently has been scheduled against the Masked Singer. Now, let me just remind you, Doctor Who magazine, that when Doctor Who came back, it slaughtered the two most popular British talents of the day, still to today, which was Ant and Dec. It slaughtered them when it came back for 4 years running. So it really is spin. I'm not buying Doctor Who magazine, as people will know, but go along to Derek's post on the Type 40 Facebook page and have a laugh before you go to bed, or over your breakfast, or over your dinner, or over your lunch, or wherever you're watching this show, because talk about spin, this has more spins than Wonder Woman.
I have speculated.
It was amazing. It was big red, bold letters as well. I mean, just red as well.
Bless his heart, Barnaby. I think that Tom Spilsbury put so much hard work into putting spin on these figures that when he stops work, when he comes away from his Mac or whatever, goes down to walk down to the post office or to the local shop, he literally can't focus. His head is all over the place. No idea what's going on.
What difference does it make? Does it? It does. What difference does it make? It failed. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what spin you put. It fails.
But it's your point. It's your point, Mega Geeky, that you've been saying over the last couple of years on this show. Is you've been saying that the BBC will not own it, and it's showing that through the fact that the magazine is still not actually technically allowed to give the facts and to do something.
But surely they are giving the facts. But what you're saying is somehow they're then spinning it to sound good, because
they're excusing it. They're finding excuses.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like spin. That just sounds like a pathetic. Well, we were up against this thing.
Yeah. She's vicious, isn't she, viewers? She's vicious. That one down there. She's vicious.
You're absolutely right, because spin is a little bit more. Clever.
It's actually
a bit more
sounding and positive. We got slaughtered by some two-rate celeb dressed up as a panda.
That's putting that into perspective. Carvanista on one channel, that on the other. What's a viewer going to pick? Terry on Tuesday.
Hey, Terry.
The voice of the master. Yes, Terry. He says that nice to see Queen Charlotte on here. It's good to see you there too, Terry. Along with the Classic 80s fanboy, Carl. It's good to see you here too. Lots of our other friends who've turned up to celebrate with us, Type 40, as we've hit 50 of the live stream shows with this one. This has been a riot. Lots and lots of fun. Some great comments from everybody in the chat. Not too late to like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit that cloister bell to get the notifications. If you haven't already, keep that coming. Thanks so much for all the interaction on Facebook And of course, on YouTube, you can comment along after in the comment section too. We get back to you and chip in with the conversation there whenever we can. There's some great comments there, more talking points even. We're going to revisit at whatever point we can in the future. Talking about revisiting, I think it's time, JT, that we reminded people about the competition. So what can people win and how can they win it?
Oh, right, yes. So as we said at the top of the show, if you want to win some stuff from here in the loft, stuff that I had doubles of, you have to be in the United Kingdom first. And we've got the Doctor Who calendar from 2017, which is the Danilo one, which is the one where you can colour in stuff. So it's the nearest you're going to get to a colouring book in this day and age right now. And you can have hours of fun cuddling stuff there.
I can cuddle it.
Colouring, yeah, you can cuddle it as well. I don't care. Your own life's your own. We've got these collectible mini standees from the anniversary year of 2003 when the show was 40. These were recommended retail price of $8.99 each. So you can have a Dalek, and you can have a TARDIS, and then I've got the Michael Wisher Davros there as well. And then on top of that, we have a first edition of the Twin Dilemma, and then we've got first editions of the Green Death with the picture on the back, and the Ice Warriors. And to win that, all you have to do is answer the question: what do the initials TARDIS stand for?
Dun, dun, dun.
No idea.
Swap shop. It's just fabulous. I love it.
No idea.
Yeah, so that question again, what do the initials TARDIS stand for? And if you get back to us here at Type 40 Live in the Type 40 social media, Instagram and Twitter at Type 40 Doctor Who, or there's the Type 40 Facebook page, or just join the group there and let us know. Send us your answer however you can. What does TARDIS stand for?
No idea.
We'll be announcing the winner.
It's a tough
completely
one.
Picked at random at a later date. What a wonderful show, everybody. Yes, we have. Yeah, how could we possibly not have the Type 40 Pretty Pictures Gallery? Who's down for that?
Yes, bring them on. Bring them on.
More fan art. More fan art. Yeah, here we are again. Kev, Who Fan Man, has sent us this too. This is the people at the bottom of the screen don't know who they are, but there's a festival of fireworks there marking the 50th edition of Type 40 Live.
Brilliant.
Well, it's all going off. It's all in the stars. Thank you again for all your designs, all the fun there from Kev Who Fan Man. Keep them coming. And anybody else who wants to send us some more pictures, just things that you like and things that you've created, we're all eyes and ears here at Type 40 Live for more of that. And we've got some pretty pictures as always. We couldn't possibly leave these. These are the latest works from Ant Lamb, who publishes his fan art over on Twitter. It seems to dab it with faint praise to call this fan art, but a lot of them are for personal projects, and this one was from a commission. These are Daleks in their control center here.
Ooh. I love the mist. He's got a little mist over them as well. A bit. Yeah, it's quite nice.
Oh, and I love the fact that he's got the dead planet corridor at the background. The original 1963 Dead Planet corridor. Fabulous. Love that.
Proper
and there's the blue Dalek there, the elusive blue Dalek in the background.
Where is the blue Dalek from? Where is that from originally?
It's a fan thing. Do you remember, Simon? In the 80s, he was introduced in, I think it was one of Peel's fan books before he did the Target version of the Evil and Power.
Was it War of the Daleks or something?
No, I think it was even earlier than that, and I'm sure it was John Peel. He did either for a fan magazine or whatever. I'm sure it was John Peel that introduced the Blue Dalek, but it was definitely in a fan piece, and we never got it on telly, of course, yet.
I like it. I like that Blue Dalek.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Terrific art, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Yeah,
it's so atmospheric, Ian.
It is a shame. The real Daleks,
they don't look like that.
No, they don't.
I just don't understand why we can't just go back to proper classic Daleks.
Well, put out a plea. I mean, Russell, don't drop the tea. He might be watching this now. Give him a plea.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And we've got more as well. This is another one. This is another one from Ant Lamb. This is of the Dalek control room on Kemble from the Dalek Master Plan. You're quite right. Barnaby's
definitely. The BBC, it looks like a BBC studio, doesn't it, with the shiny floor?
Yeah, it is. Floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Floor.
We've said it before, but let's say it again. there's your spin-off series with the likes of Ant and Lee, who we've had on the show over in the past on this series.
Oh, wonderful!
I mean, what a beautiful series that would be for the start of some spin-offs.
Well, they got to do it properly, haven't they? They got to do like the bad version they did before.
Who wouldn't want to see a Dalek serial? I mean, who wouldn't want to see it? Terry Nation tried to get it done in the 60s, and there was a good reason why he tried to do it. It would have worked then. It would have worked then, and it would certainly work now.
Really. Oh, it definitely work now, especially now because they're huge again, and we have the talents like Ant and Lee to actually put that in there. I mean, I'd watch a show like that, CGI or not. I'd watch that.
It doesn't look like CGI, does it, JT?
No, but it doesn't, and I think that's why it's quite clever with these people doing all this sort of stuff, because they obviously know what they're doing. And as Ian said before, Ian has bemoaned the fact that a lot of talented fans like these guys don't get employed to do the proper stuff. When actually,
they don't. They should, yeah.
Well, especially with looking at that, you know, I've been recently watching The Mandalorian, which is all basically done back projection, digital back projection, and it is literally, it's a rubbish series. I think it's terrible series, but it's beautifully produced, and you could do a Dalek serial on the basis that they've made The Mandalorian, and it would look utterly stunning.
Well, here's hoping Russell T.
Yeah,
he's thinking the same way as us. So
if the main show is a huge hit, then the doors are open.
Yep.
It is the latest work as well from the colorization god, really, Clayton Hickman. He puts his out on Twitter as well. As you probably know, we regularly look at his feed to see what he's got coming. Why I was so interested in this one is because it features Maureen O'Brien, Simon, as Vicky. So here's the original picture.
The Mythmakers.
From the Mythmakers, yeah. And I hadn't even seen that picture very often.
No, it's probably one of those that turned up in DW Doctor Who Weekly back in the day. But I don't remember. I must be honest. Yeah, it's not desperately familiar to me, that one isn't. That's presumably just towards the end when she strangely turned into Troilus and Cressida for apparently.
Yeah. So I was looking at that and thinking, oh, isn't that a wonderful picture of a character? You know, Vicky's one of my favourite companions. Yeah. So I was enjoying that as it was. But of course, Clayton being Clayton, he hasn't just left it there. He's gone back, he's remastered it, and he's colorized it.
Whoa.
Really great.
Superb.
Look at the skin tones and the...
Yeah. And he's, as you say, he's remastered it and cleaned it up as well. So he's cleaned up all the dirt that was there. I mean, that's sort of in HD quality, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah. The man, sometimes he has these bursts of creativity where he'll put out like 4 or 5 in the space of a couple of weeks. There's so much to see. If you go and follow Clayton Hickman over on Twitter, and we've got a link which we put in the description of the videos too, where you can go and tip him, get him a coffee, and encourage him through his
How does he know what colours to use though? Because he
he researches meticulously. It's crazy.
Do we actually think those are the right colours then, or do we think you think they are?
Yeah, Clayton, he does do. He even goes back to costume design production notes and scripts and stuff like this, and because he's had access to all these things, I absolutely do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's stunning.
They're
People
great.
Love this in the chat. It's the simplest of images, but Maureen O'Brien and that character. It's another. Does she leave to get married or?
She falls in love.
Well, she was dumped. Yeah. I mean, you know, being brutally honest, she was just dumped from the series. Bless her.
But it's such a romantic picture, isn't it, Dad? It just, that's what I like about Vicky. That look in her eyes of wonder and wondering what's going to be in her own personal future.
Do you know, Vicky reminds me of when I was a little boy, because because we didn't have the videos and stuff when we were all very young. Didn't know Vicky apart from the Target books and the picture in the monster book or whatever it was. And it always intrigued me as a boy that Vicky had died in ancient Greece but hadn't been born yet.
Oh, it's interesting. I never even thought about that, but you're right.
That's one of the things I enjoy about Doctor Who. Always, the situation with Mel, she meets the Doctor in the wrong order, all those kinds of things. I was always fascinated by that as a kid in fiction.
And so was Stephen Moffat, obviously.
I was just going to say, I suppose that's what started Moffat off, Barnaby.
Marty McFly, yeah.
Sorry, I've just been distracted by James A. Fitzpatrick's comment. Vicky was going for those arms.
The guns.
It was shallow, wasn't it?
2 tickets to the gun show for Vicky there. 2 tickets to the gun show.
Good on you, Vixter.
Brilliant.
And finally, we couldn't possibly let this one go because this is a friend of ours. Now, exactly 30... No, it's not exactly, actually. He's lied to me. Yeah, okay, 29 years ago. The artist Pete Warbank, who you will definitely have seen Pete's work on magazine covers, book covers, in calendars, in illustrations, in magazines. A 30-year history, not just in Doctor Who art, but in pop culture art, Simon, geek culture, and
absolutely
movie posters as well. This man, his commissions are beautiful, aren't they? A lot of it revolves around cinema from, say, between the 60s and the 80s, stroke the 90s. But he's a massive Doctor Who fan. You've known him for decades, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, Pete's very, very generous. I always tell him he's wrong, but he's always very generous because he always sort of credits the Lunatics, the group that I was running in the 80s, as totally the reason why he is now as big as he is. And I always tell him he's wrong. No, it's his talent. But to put it in context, basically, I can still remember him coming along to me when I was running the group in the 80s, and he said, I've done a bit of Doctor Who art. Would you like to? And to be honest, we used to get shown Doctor Who art all the time, and it was generally terrible. So I must be honest, I remember being very dismissive and just be like, yeah, okay, Pete. Well, then of course he holds up this beautiful, beautiful painting. And so, as part of the group that I was running, we sort of just promoted him. We helped as far as we could, and fortunately, Doctor Who magazine picked up on him as well. Then, and he's still going today. And there we are. There's one of his covers.
This was his very first Doctor Who magazine cover there for an illustration, a painting of the Awakening. Peter Davison is the 5th Doctor there with the nasty, scary malice breaking through the walls of the church. It's enough to bring back my horror when I was 10 watching that story. But yeah, he's been celebrating this because obviously a momentous occasion for him getting on the cover of Doctor Who magazine. But Pete being Pete, he wanted to create something new to mark the occasion. So yeah, that's the original. He's gone back and looked at the same brief and wondered what would he do now, and he's come up with this.
Oh, lovely! Yeah,
wow.
A brand new painting of the Awakening with the Malice and the Doctor again, and Glyn Houston.
Yeah, it's a beautiful rendition of Glyn Houston. It's magnificent, isn't it?
Isn't it wonderful? So,
superb brightness.
Pete's obviously his career has evolved, rolled on.
Yeah,
and I don't know how many paintings he's
what he's done. I mean, for Infinity magazine alone, which I think he's still
that's the magazine.
He's done. I don't know how many for Infinity alone. He's done loads and loads and loads of covers, and he is one of the true gents of the Doctor Who world. He's a lovely, lovely bloke, very, very genuine. He loves his Doctor Who just as much as any of us. And I salute him because he's a bit of a legend. I think good old Pete.
And the editor of Doctor Who magazine from in the early 90s, John Freeman, he thought so too. He's the guy who originally commissioned Pete to create that cover back in 91. And so he saw this and he couldn't resist having a tinker himself. And with the full house dress, Barnaby. So it looks like you could walk into a newsagent in 1991 and go and pick that up for $1.95. It's got on it there.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah, very happy days. Wouldn't you pick that up now instead of?
I would pick that up now.
Rainbow covers,
I would too.
I miss Doctor Who magazine. It's about time they brought it back.
Yes, it's a celebratory piece that Pete's described, and I think that this is another striking painting from Pete Warbank.
The eyes are great, aren't they? The eyes on the Malice are just evil. Those are evil eyes. The green.
It's got Peter, right? Isn't he? It's got Peter.
Yeah. And of course, inside that issue would be the pull-out poster.
Yes, of course it would be A3 poster. Yeah. It would have been.
John Freeman said, as his former editor, I wanted to join in the fun with this reimagining of the final cover, utilising modern software we had little or no access to back in 1991. So it's a nice little team effort there from the class of 1991 and Doctor Who magazine. Fantastic stuff. Let's have a look and see what our friends in the chat can make a making of all that. People asking for an Absalom Dark spin-off. That's another Doctor Who magazine reference. Yeah. I'd buy a poster of that, Pete Warbank, if you're watching. I know he watches the show. Listen to your punters, my friend. You could be onto a winner there. Better days, better logo, the diamond logo in its rightful place.
Exactly.
There, cover of Doctor Who magazine. Full house dress. And talking about house dress, earlier on, Ian, you weren't here for this, but right at the beginning of the show, we had some glorious fan art of our own, supplied by Kev Who Fan Man, sent us in a glorious digital composition, didn't he, Charlotte? What was on it?
Oh, just all of our mugs.
Really? Go on, show it. I want to see.
Okay.
I want to see these mugs.
That's the other one, but he's also sent one that is free of all text, which I think would make, laminated, or maybe as a tapestry, or as a mosaic at the floor of your home. How'd you go for this?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
You're right in the middle, I see there, Ian. You're right.
I am.
JT's in the middle.
JT, it's like a halo he's put you in there, mate. So thanks again, Kev. Lots of fun. And thank you. Really appreciate it. I was really touched by this.
It's brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Nice.
And I'm sure that Wendy and Sarah feel the same. And I probably will print this out.
we need to use that. We need to use that. Thank you.
Good. It would make a great mouse mat at the very least. Yeah, thanks again, Kev.
Exactly.
And thank you to everybody who's been getting in touch with all the comments and all the interaction here on the channel, both tonight in the live chat on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for all of this. People want it made into an advent calendar. I think it would make a great advent calendar. Kev, he's still up. Doctor Who magazine. People talking about Doctor Who. Oh, here he is. Kev Hooferman says JT loves being in the middle.
That's another show altogether.
And,
absolutely. And I charge for that one.
Alison
reasonable rates. £250 upwards, yes. I'm giving Whittaker a run for her money, I'll tell you.
Alison Stevenson says it's like a rogues gallery.
Yeah, it is.
How rude!
How rude!
It's really nice, says Vanessa Law. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, fantastic stuff. We love it. Keep it coming. And yes, we've had a brilliant show. 50 live streams with Type 40 Live, with you guys watching along in the chat there with all our friends and companions and one another. And Peter there, he's wiping away a tear at the thought of another live stream ending. But some of us will be skipping off into the weekend, won't they?
Every time it comes
with abandon, with absolute abandon.
With gay abandon.
And some of you, no doubt, will have missed the party because you've been at the pub or whatever.
What are you doing?
They've missed the party.
Please.
They've missed the party too, haven't you both? Yeah. But Bailey and Reba, they'll be able to hit us up and watch us on YouTube. Go back through the video, and if you have been here and you want to enjoy it all again, try and make some of the sense from this absolute madness. Be our guest. Hit up this video and all the other 49 editions of Type 40 Live here on the playlist, ready to scroll and move through whenever you want. Okay, that is it.
50 years old. It's amazing.
I ask you, 50 shows and still got it. Who knows? Yeah, the show continues to evolve, and I'm really, really proud of it. I love doing it. I couldn't wait to get on the stream tonight to do this. And I'm really excited about the future of Doctor Who, but I'm even more looking forward to be able to talk about it with all of you guys, Ian, Barnaby, Charlotte, JT, Simon, and Sarah, of course, and Wendy. And lots more conversations to come, lots more reviews, previews, maybe a few interviews, some deep dives, and some celebrations too as we approach that 60th anniversary year. happy 50th live stream to you guys and everybody who supported us in the chat over the last nearly 2 years of Type 40 Live. More to come. More to come. JT, do you want to tell them about that question again? The competition question.
Yes. What does the acronym TARDIS stand for?
There you go. And don't forget, get in touch with us through our social media, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook with your answers to that question. You could win JT's swag there.
So they have to send a message in. Is that what they've got to do? They've got to send them. They've got to get on the and send a message in.
Yeah, I don't care how they get it to us. Just get it to us. If we can take your name and put your name in the hat, you stand a chance. The winner will be pulled at random to mark our 50th live stream.
Hey,
okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Happy 50th live stream, everybody. Thanks for being here. Lots more to come. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 and Type 40 Live. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Subscribe.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Subscribe.